G'day, folks. AoS Coach here, and we are talking about the Ossiarch Bonereapers. I have a new Battletome to preview, and we will talking with the Ivory General Brian Cox, who is straight out of the Age of Ligmar, top-performing OBR player. Recently came in second with OBR at the Palm Springs Open, and this book is an interesting book, and I'm hoping by the time this video has dropped, my Warhammer community article has also dropped. So if it hasn't, spoiler, look for Warcom. I've written an article about how to play with OBR. But if you have, amazing. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you can check out the links down below. Warp 5 Minis in the USA, Gap Games in Australia, or Element in the UK. Much appreciated. It lets me live off things more than just plain rice. Brian, OBR, friend of the channel, what are your general thoughts? We'll get straight into the rules because there's a lot to go through. As we have learned through the recent battle tomes, it's like there's so much has changed. How you feeling?
It's a little overwhelming. Identity change, I want to say, is going to be the theme for this one. Analogy is if you used to play Beasts of Chaos, like all 12 of us before, when it went from a horde army to like a type of very elite hyper ambush army, it's kind of going to be that drastic of a switch of army now. So prepare yourselves.
That's interesting because I didn't read it that way. Now, I say that because when I looked at some of there's obviously like war scroll changes, there's fundamental changes even at the point of your battle tactics, your battle traits. I've had like so little sleep today. Like there's a lot of changes, and what I felt going through this and even writing like my Warcom article was that there are more styles to play. If you like your murder ponies and your Morghasts, and that's like you want to press go and you just want to go aggressive, cool. You've got a chariot hero now or a pony hero. Amazing. If you are someone who likes to play more with like your Mortek guard and you want to have like catapults, great. Now you've got your little you've got your shooting units. And you've also got like the Liege-Mortek that's also going to sit behind the line. If you're someone who, and if you want to run like your stalkers and things like that, I felt liberated. Like, and I don't play OBR, like I'm making this all up, but I felt that there was just more styles unlocked.
I think it was just the index just kind of pigeonholed OBR of just being this very tight formation, like almost castle where weakness, surprise was 6 objective maps, but now it does feel liberating where that's not going to be an issue anymore. And like there's a lot more play styles going into this book, which is very exciting. But it's kind of like if someone very enjoyed that very tough castle style, you could still play it that way, stuff like that, but it's not going to be what it used to be.
No, it's definitely changed, and the way RDP is going to work, it changes like every time they touch OBR, right? Like every time OBR's touched, RDP gets touched. But I will say, like, you're talking castles for a second, and I know I said to you, Brian, like, let's just like have a quick introduction and get straight to the rules. I do want to say, like, one of the things that I call out, like one of my favorite combinations was using the new Mortek Liege and the combination with your shooting unit, the Triaxes, with the Mortek, because like they can shoot even if they're not in combat in the combat phase if he's in combat. Like that little combination, having that little guy, supporting your Mortek guard, you've got a unit of reinforced Triaxes wholly within 12, and they can shoot in the combat phase. Like, that's sick.
It is. That's such a cool theme for OBR. Just the infantry line, just the wall of Mortek guard, the wall of Triaxes, and the foot leech just commanding that infantry line. Oh, it's such a good theme. And I think it's going to be a viable play style, too.
Yeah. I think there's some really interesting things, but hey, let's go to exactly what I said, which is get straight to the rules. There is a lot going on. So cool. Let's start here. So first thing you need to know is Immortal Elite. It is the anchor and the most critical thing, and it is going to ultimately determine your hero selection. No different to probably like the old book, but I think it's become even more important. So once per battle round, start of the battle round, if there are no friendly units that have used Relentless Discipline in this phase, which you probably shouldn't in at the start of the battle round, you pick a friendly OBR hero, and then basically you generate a bunch of points equal to what is on its war scroll. Those points will last you for the entire battle round. And then once you've spent the points, you've lost them. And then obviously at the start of the battle round, you pick a hero, you get the RDP, you go through this again. Cool.
Yeah.
Basic concept. We understand that. Brian, anything you want to say at this point?
Yeah, it's going to, when we get to see who generates how much relentless discipline, it's going to be nice that our non-foot wizards and even our noun catacross are still generating a good amount, stuff like that, but it's not going to be as consistency as the aura, so you're going to have to think about which RDP abilities, because it is going to be limited.
But the good thing is that you're not bound by it aura as well. So you can be spending RDP. You've got one unit that, to your point, sitting on a flank, fighting for its life, trying to control an objective that would be normally outside of a bubble. But let's actually get to that. That's exactly where I wanted to go, because then I want to loop back to the actual ability. Yeah. So step one, pick hero. Who are the heroes and why is this important? So here are your heroes. I don't think I've missed anybody. This is including your new heroes. All of this is on the war scroll as a keyword. So you'll see RDP, bracket, thing. So you can see here, Nagash has 3, Catacross has 10, Arcan 3, your Liege-Mortek, your new infantry hero, are 5, your Chariot, Liege-Kavalos is 6, Xantos has 7, and your generic, wizard foot people like your Bone Shaper, Soul Reaper, Soul Mason, Ossiarch has 2. So now, the thing that Brian and I were talking about as well is like our first read, I was like, oh, I get to cool, I've got Catacross in my list. I've got a Bone Shaper in my list. I might have a Kavalos. So I started adding it up. And then you realize, no, it is 1. So, so this is going to be critical to make sure you've got a strong one. And then you've got some fallback ones in the case that somebody dies. But Brian, you do some talking here.
Yeah. So
how do you think?
So this still makes Catacross still very relevant if you just enjoy writing that character as well too. But I think it's nice with Kavalos, the Kavalos, the Chariot, the Liege-Kavalos, and Liege-Mortek still being at that number. That still all pretty viable too. It's just when you get into your foot wizards and even Nagash, I guess he's just selfish with only 3 and Arkan 2, is they're not going to be reliable for your army for a battle trait, where you might, at least in the old books, like, oh, I could rely on my foot wizards if something happens to, say, my Xantos that I used up before with Death Riders or something like that. So you're going to need to be pretty tactical of keeping these guys alive for a longer term, and there is ways like a failsafe if someone dies in the enhancements areas, but it's going to be very important to keep your commanders alive, which I think is a good OBR thing. I think that's kind of always been the case, but I think this amplifies it more.
I think most lists are going to start with either Catacross, Liege-Kavalos, Xantos, or the Liege-Kavalos on Chariot. I think most lists are going to start there. You're going to have one of them in your list. Catacross, for example, is 500 points. So he's going to take up 1/4 of your army. Clearly has 10 RDP. So very, very powerful here. And we'll obviously loop back to the actual rules to make more sense. You've made a really good comment as well, Brian, around like if your list starts at Arcan or Nagash, you're not really playing around too heavily in the RDP space, or you're going to need a second hero like probably like a Liege-Kavalos, for example, just to get yourself up to a basic of like something that's really usable.
Yeah.
The other thing as well you've made, and I'll pass back to you in a sec, is the importance of protecting the hero, because if you have, let's say, Xantos and let's say like your Bone Shaper, your Bone Mason, and a bunch of like foot heroes, then you're down to 2 RDP. Like once you lose that one critical hero, and for someone who has really good shooting or like has the ability to snipe you out, you're putting that hero at threat. And the minute it goes, and that's probably why Catacross is so powerful, right? Because it's got such a dense health. But so does the Chariot. We went to the War Scroll Chariot. It's a pretty dense War Scroll.
Yeah, it sure is. And I think to kind of protect from a doom gloom about that is Liege-Mortek, dirt cheap. He's only 120 points. And, for a foot hero being a 3-up save base, only 5 wounds, but, he's infantry. We're in an era of obscuring too. And guard hero. Just, you can, if you want, you take a couple of them.
Yeah, and even like the Liege-Kavalos on War Chariot, it's 230 points. So that's actually really...
Right. And I think a lot of non-Catacross lists are going to have a combination of like Xantos, Liege-Kavalos Chariot, and also the Liege-Mortek guard. So something happens to him, you still have a good amount of RDP.
Yeah, because like, I'm playing hypothetical here, but, like Catacross, clearly 1/4 of the army, solid. No Catacross, you're probably taking either Liege-Kavalos and or Xantos and or Chariot. And like those 2 heroes, whatever combination you pick, is around the 500 mark. You lose Xantos, you still got a Chariot, and you're still generating a lot of points. So as long as you're someone who's not building their army around a bunch of infantry heroes, even at Liege-Mortek, right? Like that's really like the price point of 120 points, 5 RDP.
It's worth it, even outside of the RDP. Like he's worth it.
Yeah, cool. All right, we've kind of nailed the point around heroes and RDP. How can we spend them, and what does it cost? So there are 5 rules you can see here. You're spending 1 relentless discipline point for the unit. If that unit is reinforced and has more than half of its starting models on the table, you are spending 2 RDP instead. So basically, like a lot of our armies are going to be having reinforced units. Obviously, if you're supporting yourself, that only costs 1 RDP as a hero, which is really helpful for those that have an uneven number. But you can see here, I've got 2 movement phase abilities, 1 in the shooting phase, 1 in the combat phase, and then 1 as a reaction that gives you the ward as well. So you can play around with that. What do you get? Basically, cool. So you pick a friendly OBR unit that hasn't received RDP this phase, and you can see that is relatively consistent. A couple of them are reactions as well. So if you look at Remorseless March, you will add 3 inches to the movement characteristic of that unit for the rest of the phase. That unit cannot run for the rest of the turn. The second one in passive retreat, for the rest of the turn, that unit can use charge abilities even if retreated in the same turn. You have Ruthless Extermination. I love this one. This is so cool. So once per it's so funny. Once per turn reaction, you declare a shooting ability for the unit and it hasn't used RDP. Then basically you subtract 1 from ward rolls for damage points inflicted by attacks made by the shooting ability. And then, not finally, because there's still 2 more. You've got your Pitless Assault, where you declare a fight ability for the unit, in the fight phase. And you add +1 to the wound rolls for attacks made by the fight ability. And then finally, the other one being a reaction of giving a 5-up ward against attack. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that one's like reaction, like all-out defense. But the one different thing about this is you can keep using it even for the same unit. And this is, we there's actually more relentless discipline abilities on some war scrolls, but you're gonna need to be tracking your RDP, because you, with 5 aboard alone, you could tank your RDP for the battle round. So it's cool that we're gonna have that mini game of relentless discipline balance.
So let's start from left to right. Let's start by boosting our movement characteristic. Clearly, like, actually, I'll let you go first. I've got thoughts because I wrote about them.
Yeah, I think with Remorseless March, nice is +3 movement, but we can't use run abilities with it anymore, so OBR is losing a little bit of mobility there too, but there's going to be some new war scrolls that have great mobility, so won't worry too much about it.
But when I was looking at the base stats, right, you've got your Mortek guard, who are base of 4, so now you're at 7. Like, that's a relatively fast bunch of like basic troops.
Yeah.
You put this on like your murder ponies, your death riders, you're now movement 13, ready to like smash someone with a wood charge.
Yeah, more gas will be moving 13 too. I think, though, especially with going into this balance with our limited relentless discipline, we're probably not going to be putting on Mortek guard, especially if they're reinforced and costing 2, because you can start going to a spiral yet, especially when we have cool stuff like ruthless extermination, like using that on a unit of Triaxes, or the Mortek crawler, my favorite. Like, oh.
I tend to agree. Like, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. And like, of the 5, it's probably the one I would use the least. But the fact that, for example, and who knows what the next General's Handbook has for us, right? You could have a unit of reinforced Mortek guard at the line of deployment, move them 7, dominate the center of the board. You've really set up, and then you're more gassed, and like there's other things you can do. But yes, like, compared to the others, it's the least sexy.
Yeah, and really we had that before too. He would just pop +2 aura command currently, and then just make a run roll. But now you can't even do that, so it's a little bit different too. So that's where it's not your whole army being fast, because I think that was a little bit of a gotcha in the index, where it's like, oh, I'm an opponent looking at these war scrolls, everything's like move 4 and stuff like that. They're kind of slow. It's like, not really, because if I'm taking characters, my whole army is +2 to move, and we're actually moving decently fast. Now, I think it's a little bit easier for your opponent, and sometimes when a book can be interesting and easier for the opponent to follow along, it's actually kind of a good thing. That's just my
Yeah, that's fair. And we talked about this a little earlier, where you don't have to rely on being in bubbles all the time, so it's going to give you a lot more opportunity to spread out.
We need to cover that. It's just great that none of this requires being in range of a hero anymore. So you're going to find OBR complete wide. Oh, just what a relief now.
Yes. Speaking of relieving, you've also got, that's another terrible segue, but like compared to like Impassable Retreat, that's going to be I really like this one, especially for like your Death Riders, your Morghasts. Probably not Morghast, they probably kill the thing that they touch. But you know what I mean? Like, being able to retreat and then charge as well. So actually, probably like your Death Riders, clearly. And even your Chariot, actually, some of your Chariots as well will be really beneficial with Impassable Retreat. So really like that. Why grind it out, get your bonuses up, hit them again.
Yeah, and if anyone's worried about like, oh, there's no shoot and retreat here, wait till you see the Liege-Mortek. He's got you.
There's some cool stuff in the War Scrolls. There's some cool stuff. We just talked a little bit about the Ruthless Extermination. Interesting, though, as well, remember, this is a shoot reaction.
Yes.
So it means that when we combined it with the Liege-Mortek doing its thing in the combat phase, making the Triaxes shoot in combat, or actually, by the way, they can shoot in combat if you've got that little ability, or if they're within 12 inches of him in combat, he can shoot. And then you throw down an RDP to then turn down the ward save. And then you've got the bloody, is it the
Streaker, which has a change, so you could have -2 to ward for shooting.
Oh, Nurgle, what is that? A 5-up ward? How about a no ward?
Yeah. Nighthaunt is gonna love it. Oh, just flying creatures with a ward save. Oh, you're gonna love this book, Nighthaunt.
And it also works on covering fire. So if you throw down covering fire, you can absolutely use this as well.
Yes. Yeah, just reducing a ward is just it's still just rend. And if you don't believe that, like, this last KO book, like all their rend for their shooting went down to 1. People were doom and gloomy about it, but it's like, oh, when you just remove wards or reduce wards, it's still really good. It's just a different source. It's just a different kind of rend.
And you know what? The opponent doesn't have a ward save. Cool. You just don't spend the points here. Move along.
Exactly.
Pitless Assault getting +1 to wound. Clearly, like, most of the book will benefit outside of like 1 unit, but even still 2 units. But even still.
The thing I like about this change, I think, before currently right now is we're choosing an aura in the combat phase, either 5-up board or +1 to wound. And most of the time with OBR's playstyle, like 90%, you're doing 5-up board. But now you're getting, since you're just reactioning, oh, my opponent's not going to be attacking this unit. Let's make them fight better. It's just, you're going to probably see +1 to wound now, RDP being spent more often. Than 5-up board. So it's nice we're having that freedom in the combat phase of actual choice.
Yes, and I think that's probably the one key here is that there are some common trends, as you've just said, between Index and Battletome, but this is going to really reward the player, where like previously it was like one or the other and it affected everyone. Now it gives you plenty of versatility to be as a strategic genius. And what I love about this is, like, I was thinking about this going, but Morghast already like wounding on 2s. But then you've got things like the Skaven Bell, you've got Fleshy Abundance, you've got Daughters of Cain, their manifestation. There are plenty of like -2 wound auras or penalties out there where this actually keeps you still fighting with efficiency, considering how much you pay for something like your Morghasts.
Yes. Exactly. And then there's also a combination of, like, you might look in the top of you can't choose this unit if they've been chosen on Relentless Discipline for 4, but the 5-up board doesn't have it. So there's a thing like a debuff for the Morghast. You can do +1 to wound, and then if you don't kill any and they're fighting you back, you can still 5-up board them. Because that doesn't have that restriction of...
No, correct.
Which is great.
Correct.
Coach is checking the book.
No, just no. Keep going, my friend. I'm just gonna triple check it.
But yeah, the one I'm most excited about, and everyone in SoCal probably knows it too, it's reducing ward in the shooting phase. I love the Mortek crawler, and I've been blessed with just rolling like law of 6s with Mortek crawl and getting additional hits. So I'm gonna keep that up.
Yeah, that's a really good call. Actually, it's not just the Triaxes as well. You've obviously can use it on the catapult as well. So it gives you plenty of flexibility. I love it. I think it's not as simple as it was, but I think it's going to give you guys way more flexibility, way more choices, and reward players who can make the right decisions through the course of the game. So it's still simple in nature, but it's going to reward a really smart, disciplined general, spending the points where kind of reminds me of some of the old OBR, but like back in the older OBR, you had like 1 million points. I swear there was never really a choice. Like it started with like 13 RDP, you counted all the heroes.
Yeah, it was based off how many units you have, and you're like, I get that many RDP, and it changed to that many command points, and it was just hard to track. I think this is just a much simpler form of like, oh, you're using RDP generation from that hero. Your opponent could just ask, how many points are you going to have? Oh, 7, since it's Santos. And it's like, cool, that's easy. that they can track along and follow along.
The key is going to be protecting that hero that is the source of power, at least until your go turn. And we've already shown you that. But let's build upon this even further, right? So there are 4 battle formations here. You can see they're all brand new. Border guard melee weapons used by friendly OBR units have anti-charge +1 rend, while they're wholly within neutral territory or wholly within 6 inches of both enemy and friendly territory. You have Ruthless Legions, where pick a friendly OBR unit that's charged this turn, roll a dice on a 3+, that unit's melee weapons, including companion weapons, have crit 2 hits for the rest of the turn. The Inevitable Empire, once per turn, your hero phase, pick an enemy unit to be the target, roll a dice on a 3+ until the start of your next turn. The target has a maximum control score 1 while it's within neutral territory or your territory. Do not do that against my Gargants, please. And then finalist, Remorseless Conquerors, where it's a reaction, you declare a run ability for friendly OBR units, and basically you guarantee yourself a 4+. So if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, it becomes a 4. If you roll a 5 or a 6, you get to keep the 5 or 6.
Yeah, I want to say 3 very interesting ones, probably except for the always get 4 value one. We've seen plenty of that, but you probably notice in Relentless Discipline, there's not a way to just get anti-charge +1 rend anymore, and a high rend isn't really part of OBR's identity. As most part, like you're not going to be having rend 5 more gas from around anymore. But that option there, and it's funny. It's like 2 of them are kind of just rely on battle plans for the most part. Because obviously, Inevitable Empire and Border Guards, like if it's with neutral territory, it just feels like great value too. But it's still that Inevitable Empire, like a lot of stuff that's just reducing control score to 1 or doing this crazy bonus is usually only end of the turn. The fact that this starts till your next turn is really nice too.
Quick, I just want to put my hand up, be a very kind guest. It might be worth calling out at this point. We will talk about it later, all the War Scroll changes, but it might just be worth the context because Border Guard, you're like, I don't need anti-charge on my Mortek Guard. I've already got it. Spoiler, you don't. You don't. So one thing it did change here is that your Mortek Guard are now anti-cavalry, so rend -1. So, which is great. Like if your cavalry charge your Mortek Guard and you've got yourself Border Guards, you're now -2 rend, which is pretty delicious. But yeah, just want to call out really quickly, anti-charge for your Mortek Guard will be beneficial.
Yeah, it just feels like Border Guard. It just feels like I need some play testing to see of how often am I really playing, like, let's say when it's just map territories, like, am I really playing that, like, 12-inch bubble or that 6-inch bubble in the center of the table with OBR currently? Because it might still be a lot or not, but Ruthless Legion, especially when we get into Arkan, you're gonna, that just seems very nice for him. Too. That's the next spoiler. Arkan.
Yeah,
nice blow up.
Yeah, there's a lot of good glow up.
And then also, if we're still in this current GHB, I think the Soggy, the Scourge of Gairan battle formations have just gone better with this book too. So we still have plenty of options. I think my 2 winners is either Ruthless Legion or Inevitable Empire with just the book alone. Just especially Inevitable Empire, just making it hard for them to just score your points or neutral territory points or easily taking it from them. It's gonna just feel great.
Yes. By the way, while we're ruining Christmas, I'll also tell you your terrain feature got a massive glow up. It actually is useful and it's kind of cool.
I'm excited to talk about it.
It's kind of cool. Look, I think the archetype is kind of being built here, right? Border Guard's definitely more towards your Mortek Guard. You've got your Ruthless Legion, which is probably more murder pony. Because they probably the most beneficial here. You've also, I mean, like the Inevitable Empire is pretty cool as well. The run roll of 4 is, I don't know.
Yeah, we've seen it. It's like, yeah, it has value in it. I'm not going to deny, but
sure. But then I remember my my Hellsmiths right now, but my general troops just have it on their war scroll. I'm like, I'm not picking a battle formation for that.
Yeah.
What I think is clear though is Brian and I were talking about this. I think there's a clear winner here that I don't know if there's a strong enough case to take any of the others. But I'll go through the others first, and then we'll loop back to the one that I think is auto include. So Immaculate Defender is you're ignoring the first point of damage. So ignore the first point allocated to each friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers infantry unit in the combat phase while they're wholly within 12 inches of this unit. That's all right. It's okay.
Only combat phase, like I think it should have been for all the phases, but okay.
It's okay. It's okay. Imperialist Wheel, you declared a fight for the non-hero Ossiarch Bonereaper wholly within 12. Pick an enemy unit in combat with this non-hero unit and did not charge this turn to be the target. Roll a d3. On a 2+, inflict the amount of mortal damage to the target equal to the roll. This unit can use this ability more than once per phase. Okay.
That, if they're charging into a type of Mortek castle with Triaxes and maybe other random stuff, that could start dishing out a lot of random D3s, but I think just get into manufactured mind.
All right. I'm trying to create some space. It's all right. Then you go to manufactured mind. Once per battle, start of the battle round. When picking a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers hero to be the target of the Immortal Leap, that was the ability to generate your RDP. You can pick a friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers unit that has been destroyed.
Yeah, I think every OBR should have this failsafe right now with how important RDP generation is. You want to keep your highest generation hero as live as much as you can by this can save your butt if you get sniped early.
This is a auto include. This is as auto include as I've probably ever seen in my entire life. If you take Cat across, there is no way. Well, I mean, you're not really wanting to spend $250 for another hero of decent RDP. So this gives you that fail safe, right? Hopefully you haven't lost Special K before battle round 3, and you pull this card out between 3 and 4 somewhere, and by turn 5, it's just mopping up the board. If you've lost Catacross in turn 1 or turn 2, then we've got to have a good conversation around how that happened. But yeah, I think this is as auto-include as you're possibly going to get.
Yeah, if there's any doom gloom about heroic traits and being pigeonholed, kind of valid here. It feels like it.
Yeah, especially if you're playing an aggressive hero like Xantos, like your Liege-Kavalos, like your Chariot Kavalos.
Yeah, when you're actually up forward, you have to take this then.
Yeah, and look, with the 5-up ward, and there are things like keep it around a lot longer, retreat and charge and things like that. There's a lot of cool abilities, but this is the go-to. I feel like I spent too much time on it. It's obvious. It's really good.
Yeah.
Did I mention it was good?
No, you haven't.
It's artifacts. We've got 3 new artifacts. This is just everything's new. Your bone tithing has generated lots of cool things. Bone of the Nadir is an appointment phase ability where you pick one of the unit's non-companion melee weapons for the rest of the battle. Each time you make an unmodified wound roll of 6 for the combat attacks made by that weapon, inflict D3 mortal damage on the target of the attack after the fight ability has been resolved. Shards of the Necros is if the unmodified hit roll for the attack target is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and this unit did not charge in the same turn, the attacks fail and the sequence ends. Amulet of Gnos. No mortal damage is inflicted on friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers units by retreat abilities while they are wholly within 12 of this unit.
Yeah, I think here, not really any of the greatest, but I do like the Shard of Necris the most, especially taking it on the Liege-Mortek or Liege-Kavalos. Can just help them if they get charged for that survivability. But I think that's going to be a great artifact on Liege-Mortek, where you want him to swing to activate a certain chain activation ability for your shooting units. Blaze of Nadir is just like, that's cute. I guess
It's the weakest.
Yeah, the Amulet of Gnosis or Gnosis, not sure how to pronounce that. It was always annoying taking mortal damage when you have retreat and charge in an army. So yeah, that's gonna be helpful. Just I think every OBR player has encountered a situation of either retreating with their horses or retreating with their Morghast and be like, I hope I don't kill a horse or a Morghast. So be like, damn, they died.
I think what's really cool here is you got two really strong builds. You've got, like, are you someone who's going to be aggressive and go charge, and you want to retreat and charge, and it combines nicely with some of the other things we've just spoken about? Are you playing more defensively and like, that Liege-Mortek having a Shard of Necris on top of, like, having your Mortek guard on Ren -1 on the charge, or Ren -2 on the charge if they're cavalry? Like, there's some really good defensive things here. The Blade probably has some very interesting builds, but it's not as strong as Shard or Amulet.
Yeah, it's not like Liege-Kavalos has abundance of attacks to make that worth it. And it's unmodified wound rolls too, so yeah. I think Charge of Necris on Liege-Mortek is my favorite. What I would be running.
Yeah, so I was just having a quick look at, like, your Liege-Kavalos and your Liege-Kavalos on Chariot. So their base weapon profile is 5 attacks. So statistically, you don't even get one of those blades going off.
Yeah,
like, on average.
Yeah, I think it is just too niche and unpredictable.
Yeah, it's cute, but, like, you don't have the high volume of attack hero to benefit from it.
Exactly.
Cool. Spells. We have some tweaks here to the spells. You have a brand new spell, Immolating Flames. What do we lose? I've forgotten what do we lose?
I think it's important to probably note before we get into Empowered Netherite weapons, a lot of Roar Skulls do not have crit 2 hit anymore. And this spell will make a lot more sense when you read it.
And you didn't answer my question. It's Shardstorm.
Oh, Shardstorm. Yeah.
I'm like, what spell did we lose? It's Shardstorm. So Shardstorm got
canned.
Got canned for Immolating Flames. Drain Vitality is exactly the same. So no change. There's no magenta. Let's start with the new spell. Then let's loop back to Empower Netherite weapons and build on that with what you just said. So Immolating Flames, casting value of 6. Pick a friendly OBR wizard to cast, blah, blah, blah. Wholly within 12. Pick the target. Until the start of your next turn, each time a model in the target unit is slain by a combat attack that was made by that model was in combat with the attacking unit, roll a number of dice equal to the target's health characteristic. On a 5-up, inflict 1 mortal damage to the target after the fight ability has been resolved.
Yeah, that's huge. Just when you can have 30 wounds on Death Riders doing Death Mortals, or it's nice this can be on Morghast. It's just based off your health characteristics, so 24 more wounds. You want to be funny and eat a Catacross into something to die. 20 dice rolled then. But yeah, that's just a great spell for the army. I think when I look back upon a lot of games, I was a Morghast runner, and if I whiffed with my Morghast, it was always like Morghast always did some damage, but it's like, oh man, they have like 2 wounds left, and because of that, they killed the Morghast. Like now, I know there's going to be a lot of opportunities where this helps chip off that like final couple of wounds because they kill a Morghast or something like that. And I can see this being so good with a KDR blob, Kavalos Death Rider blob.
Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice spell.
Yeah, that's great.
I do wonder how many wizards now you'll be taking in OBR, and just with the RDP mechanic, will that change the shape of, especially with now a bunch of new heroes too?
I think when people see Arkan, I think Arkan's going to be popular. So
Arkan's going to be popular, but his points being 440, and the fact that he only gives you 3 RDP, I think let's come back to that one. Let's come back because he is good.
He is.
Let's come back to that. All right.
Yeah.
But yes, but I agree with you. I think there's a great time to bring back Arkan. It just depends on what it does to your list.
Yeah.
In power narrate weapons, casting value 5 still. Your declare step has changed. It's still the same. It's the effect. So you can see here it says the target's melee weapons have crit 2 hits until the start of your next turn. If all the target's non-companion melee weapons had crit 2 hits when they were picked to be the target of its ability, the target's combat basically just do crits on 5s instead of crits on 6s. And friendly Ossiarch Bonereapers units can be affected by this ability multiple times.
Yes. So if you want, if you're only running 2 wizards like that, that means probably only 1 unit. Just depends on your list because it's only the very elite units that still keep crit 2 hits, like the Morghast, Crawler, and like Catacrosis Spear.
Mortis Guard don't have it. Stormers don't have it.
It's wild that Mortis Guard and Stalkers don't have it because I would consider that elite, but in this situation, they're not elite enough. So you're not going to have, if you have 3 wizards, don't think you're going to have, 3 units with crit on 5s now. It's probably going to be 1 or 2 at the most if you're really stacking the wizards, but that's going to hurt your RDP generation. So it's kind of that new mini game with that balance.
But let me pause you there because this is the inner conflict they have with Arcan of Black, because Arcan could be 2 or 3 foot heroes that could be both casting Empower Nadirite that Arcan can only do once.
You're not going to gaslight me and just not mention what his mount does, all right, and what Curse of Years does, all right. Don't gaslight us like that, all right.
I'm building this story, but I think what I'm trying to say here is that there's not a lot of easy picks, right? Because Arcan is actually really interesting.
Yeah.
So is Catacross, but then also like you're starting to unlock yourself, like you're building too many points on heroes, and like we know OBR's power really comes in the bodies. And where is it? You didn't get. Oh, that's good. I was expecting Morghast Archive and Harbingers to go up. No, they're actually the same. Great. So like a reinforced unit is still like 500 points. Catacross 500 points. You're now at 1,000 points, and you've got 2 units. Very good units, but 2 units.
Yeah. So. Cool. Nice of Power Nadirite weapon is still just within 12 too. It's not wholly within, so glad they kept that. Too.
Spell looked good. I think it's some interesting things here. Move along. We got a lot of new units. Anything you also want to say at this point to like bookend us from like what we've just gone through?
No, let's get to some War Scrolls.
All right, we had sexy amount of War Scrolls. First off, with probably the sexiest of them all. I think this is this when I saw this on the reveal, I instantly fell in love. The Liege-Kavalos On War Chariot. Yes, there is an alternative build, a non-hero version, and I'll show that to you very soon. But what do you see on here on the screen? By the way, here's our first example of what I was saying earlier about the keywords. So do have a look down below on the keywords. It does say Relentless Discipline 6. So you've got a pretty decent, melee guy. Like you've got like your Commander's Blade, 5 attacks, 3s, 4s, Ren 1 for 2, charge +1 damage, move of 10, save of 3, control of 2, health of 12, 6 up save. This is a 230 point unit which I think is very generous. I could see this going up in the future, but 230 for 12 health, 3 up save, strong in RDP. I think this is a great war scroll. Two key abilities. One is grind them to dust once per turn, any movement phase. If this unit's in combat, pick this unit and up to 2 friendly units, 2 friendly Kavalos War Chariots, wholly within 12 and in combat. They can make a pile-in move and then on a D3 2-up mortals.
Yeah.
The other one is the Masterful Charioteers, and this is any combat phase. If this unit is in combat and has charged, pick this unit and up to 2 friendly visible chariots, like Kavalos War Chariots, so the non-hero version. They have charged, that are wholly within 12, and that are in combat, and they have a 5-up ward. So that's not using RDP.
Yeah. I think one important thing that why their 230 makes in place, don't be confused. This pile-in move, you need to already be in combat to do it. So it's not like a murder-less situation, but it's still, with how big their base size is, it's like you might be potentially tagging more targets to lock them up in combat. Being able to use it in any movement phase, just awesome. And the Chariots theme is they are techy. Their damage profile is just myth. Like an elven profile. Okay. But their power is with their tech too. And it is very nice that you can give them a 5-up board. But it's only during the charge though. And I think when we get to the regular chariot, I think it might be a little bit hard to keep them in that wholly within 12 bubble if you're doing a chariot type of spam.
So yeah, in my head, I had 1 chariot supporting this at most. But the fact that it works on itself, so if it was just an independent threat piece,
yeah,
that's great. Like, it's not dependent on having a war chariot with it. It's, if it has up to 2, amazing. If not, do it yourself.
Yeah, never gonna downplay the power of being able to do any type of movement to your enemy's movement phase or in your opponent's turn is always so strong.
And I'll be honest, like I'm looking at the points difference here. So this is 230. The chariot is 170. If I've got 60 points and I don't care about drops, I'll take multiple versions of this. Like, I'll just keep taking multiple, like, for 60 points difference. If I've got the points, like, that's solid.
Yeah.
But obviously the abilities don't work on a second chariot. Like, they need to have like the non-hero version.
Yeah, once per turn army on war scroll abilities is very real in this book. You're probably never spamming really a type of unit in this book.
No, but the rules also say Kavalos War Chariots. They don't.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's what I'm referring to, not the actual ability. The fact that the actual ability doesn't impact the second.
Yes.
Cool unit. Do we like it? Is it auto include?
I don't think it's auto include. I think it's just gonna depend on how you want to build your list, and I think variety is a good theme for this book. You're gonna have a lot of variety and choices with it.
And it's a war machine as well. So current season, you're not going to be able to benefit from this skewering as per the updates.
We missed out. Yeah.
I know. I'm just saying though, like, just calling out that it's a war machine. I think this is a great war scroll. I think this is an A-tier war scroll. I think it's very good, very competitive. It's not auto include just yet, but it's a very good war scroll.
I think it's I think it's a high B just because the restrictions that it needs to be in combat for that pile-in move already. That's, you're not really catching people off guard usually like that, but it is a big base and you're probably going to be able to do some sneaky tagging with that extra pile-in move. But yeah, I think it would high B for me.
Okay. I think even as a flanking threat piece, this is very good. Like, even if I was mostly like Mortek Guard and my Triaxes and I've got catapults and I wasn't going aggressive like Morghasts, let's say like I wasn't an aggressive Death Rider force, this on the flanks will probably beat most things on the flanks. Will probably distract people, and like either they'll ignore it and it will have a field day. You're right. The profile is decent. Like, it's not the most killy profile in the world, but it's enough to take out what's usually holding flank objectives while the rest of your force is doing its thing.
That's true. But I'm excited for us to view the normal chariot. I love that ability.
Okay, so we've got an AB here. Let's see how we go. We have the non-hero version of the chariot. I did mention this is 170 points, where hero version was 230. What have you got here? So you've got a move of 10, save of 3, control of 2, 10 health, 6 up save. The profile is pretty similar to a degree when it comes to like melee profile.
Definitely worse. No, it can't get charged damage 3. So it's stuck at 1. It's definitely wet noodle hitting, but strength, its abilities. Yes.
Yeah, it's similar. It's not the same. You got 2 abilities, as you said. We've got pinning attacks in your shooting phase. Pick a visible enemy unit within 18 inches of this to be the target. Roll a dice on a 3+. Inflict 1 mortal damage on the target. The second bullet point is sexy. The target cannot make pile-in moves for the rest of the turn. Second one, and like I'm gonna let Brian like just bubble up with anticipation, is the Scything Assault. Any combat phase, if this unit charged this turn, pick an enemy unit in combat with it to be the target. Inflict D3 mortals to the target. Then you can remove this from the battlefield and set it up again within 1 inch of the target. So basically, if you've ever played like the Gargant Suplex and they pick you up and like they move you around as long as you stay within base, and like they pick you off an objective or do stuff, you can't do that. But like it's that similar kind of mechanic where
it's essentially a Balpanos rampage.
Yes.
But essentially, the War Chariot is a mini old sloppy bell piper that could stop pile-in moves, and a mini Balpanos too. And what's great about this anti-combat phase core fight ability is the no dice rolling, because it's a core fight ability. So you're doing this instead of attacking, which I think you're probably doing more damage with mortal wounds than its current profile. Anyways, but it's gonna be so sneaky, so good on capping points. Just I love it.
So if we are, let's say, like, all right, we're either doing like up to D3 mortals or we're doing a handful of damage through the melee profile, why are you so high on it, right? Because most people would look at that and go, oh, like I'm not doing a lot of damage. There's no mortals on the charge. There's no like, it's not this rampaging chariot that's going to be like killing my opponent.
Yeah, I think so think of there's just a wall of something in front of you, and you're like, there's no way that wall of something can kill you. I need to get to that objective behind them. That's going to overcome that. You can just get right behind them and cap their point. Or there are situations of like, I'm in like a countercharge threat range. What can I throw at them to stop those countercharges? Chariot's your answer. Especially when you can stop a pile-in move, just probably not attacks back and beyond them. Just it's a good interruption piece or capturing objectives piece. Just that's what I love, and I don't think with a combat profile like that, you shouldn't be relying on that damage, anyways.
Yeah, it's just like the probably the decision point here is that it's 170 points, and like one of the key rules is on a 3-up. So like you fail that 3-up, then you're losing that ability to pile in. And was that 170 points better spent elsewhere?
I'm just someone who believes mobility is king, and if you can just get right behind a unit or have a decent chance of stopping their mobility, is really good too, especially for defensive purposes. If you can stop a pile-in, just it really interrupts everything.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not against it at all. I think it's a cool ability.
I think you're against it.
The problem is you've got a lot of cool abilities and you've only got 2,000 points, right? So like, yeah. I think for me, I can see real play with having one chariot in like a if you've got like a reinforced unit of Death Riders, or you've got your Morghasts, or you've got something that's like really aggressive, even if you're running like Stalkers and things like that and just supporting like your Stalkers and that, I can see this. Like, do I need this for a defensive castle with like Mortek Guard and Triaxes? Probably not. But again, that might be the speeds and I want to be hitting the flanks with on either side while the rest of my castle kind of moves forward.
Yeah, I think with a 10 wound 3-up save with this kind of mobility, they need to commit something to it. Like their type of little teleporting scouting units that are in the games and stuff like that are not killing this model efficiently. And yeah, I agree with you. Like just one in any list just is going to be good value to it. But it's like if we're going back to the hero one, saying up to 2, I think taking 2 is a little bit. Ooh, that's 340 points plus 230. I think 1 hero and 1 regular chariot's good, but this is a war scroll for me. Just love it.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. 2, I think, is too many. Hero plus 1 is probably the max I would spend.
Yes.
I think there's also a world where you just take one of them, whether it's hero to support like your Death Riders or one of these to support the Death Riders, whatever it might be.
Yep.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page here. It's good war scroll.
It's good. It's good.
I wouldn't call it auto include, especially if you get that 3-up, then that's delicious. This, on the other hand, is delicious.
Regrease.
This war scroll, my gosh. So it's 120 points. It also can be a Legion sub-commander. So if you want to be popping it into, let's say, for example, Arcan or into probably Catacross. Yep, or Catacross or things like that. Or even actually Nagash. You could put this model into as a sub-commander in those builds. So what have you got here? You've got a generic hero on foot, right? Decent profile, like melee is fine.
Like
it's what you expect. Health of 5, move of 5, control of 2, 3-up save. It's something average that you would expect. But it's this clinical efficiency that is just so good. So let me read it out to you because I love writing this in that Warcom article. There's so much tech that I couldn't even explain in the article in a written form. So once per turn, it is a reaction where you declare a fight for this unit. Okay, so far so good. Pick a visible friendly Mortek Guard, Mortek Triaxes, or Mortek Crawler unit that has not used an attack ability this phase and is wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Immediately after the fight ability used by this unit is being resolved, the target, so the Mortek Guard, Triaxes, or Crawler, can pick either to shoot, if it was your shooting phase, or fight. If it does so regardless of what you pick, get +1 to hit for the target's attacks for the rest of the turn. Amazing.
Yes.
If it has a ranged weapon, it now can shoot in combat.
You could shoot in combat? What?
Because the Triaxes can't shoot in combat, they now can shoot in combat. The catapult can now shoot in combat. If the target uses the shoot ability and is not in combat, remember, wholly within 12, all of its shooting attacks must target the unit that this combat is fighting, basically. So I'm going to play it out. Mortek Guard at the front. This guy is like supporting. He's playing along. He's fighting with his friends. You can either activate your Mortek Guard and give him +1 to hit. Cool. Free command point. Or I got some friends behind me, my homies. They're like, hey, I don't get to engage in this. I've got a really crappy melee profile, so I'm just going to avoid combat. Not anymore, my friend. You can shoot with, we'll show you the profile very soon. It's not like well-beating profile, but the fact that I get a free shooting attack. Oh, and by the way, I could have used cover fire as well. So I get another version of shooting. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's so good. And it's just the classic of like, if you have this guy well positioned and just be like, oh, I'm gonna just tag their range units, that, and you pull this guy in, just they're probably killing that little unit you're tagging with, but then just extra rounds of shooting. It's just so strong in this game too. And then fun interactions too. It's like, yeah, I envision like Mortek guard in the front, him, say if you are going first in combat or have a source to strike first for him too, just he attacks, Mortek Carl shoots, applies strike glass on the unit that they're fighting, the Mortek guard go next or whatever. Just, it's so much synergy and I just love it. And for him being 120 points with Relentless Discipline 5, he is good. Oh. And I think this is where you're probably taking the enhancement so that he can only be hit on 5s is smart on this guy, because he's probably going to be in the front lines of that danger zone with your shooting castle.
100%. It's gonna benefit from Guard of Hero as well. So, yeah, this. If I was taking Mortek Guard or Triaxes, probably definitely want Mortek Guard. Like, I don't know if I want to just have Triaxes like defending my line.
Yeah,
this is an auto include, unless I was building like a super aggressive army. This is pretty.
This just enhances your shooting formations or blocks that you have. I think if we're taking shooting, it's kind of a no-brainer to take him too. He's cheap enough that you should be running him.
Yeah, it's a very cheap.
Hero tax is worth it.
Yeah. Unless you're building a specific style, let's say like spamming all the Morghasts or something like. Yeah. This is a pretty good pick, really good pick.
Yes.
Speaking of the Triaxes, here we are. Here is our new shooting unit. So you can see here, base infantry model. I'm not going to talk about the profile. The ranged weapon though, that's where the fun starts. So we've got an 18-inch threat range, 18 range weapon plus 4 inches of move. So 22 unless you use the RDP for the +3. Yeah. Which is creating, was it 25? 18 4 is 22 +3. Yeah, 25 maths. So that's a pretty solid threat range if you really need to be getting to the backfield. 2 attacks, hits on 3s, wounds on 4s, ren 1 for 1. It's okay. It's all right. Well, not world beating. It's no like long range, like long strikes. Interesting though, you've got this thing called these Balefire Braziers. Now you get 2 Braziers for every 10 models in the unit. So reinforce the unit, you can have 4 Braziers. Yeah.
Just basic token rules.
I'm triple checking. They come in. Yeah, they come in 10s. I was just double checking. They come in 10s. Yes, they come in 10s. So you reinforce it. You got 20. You got 4 tokens. 2 rules here. Once per turn army reaction, you use the shoot. After the shoot ability has been resolved, if all of the units target the same enemy unit, you put a Balefire Brazier target next to them. So as long as you don't split the attacks, you're going to put, it doesn't matter if they hit or wound, as long as you target one unit, you get the token. Then what's really interesting is with this other ability where while any of the units' Balefire Braziers are next to an enemy unit, you subtract 3 from the control score from that enemy unit while it's within enemy unit's combat range. That's okay.
That's great. No, that's great.
Well, you got to be in the combat. It's the second part that I love. You tell me why you love the first part. If the ability would heal or slay, if an ability would heal or return slain models to an enemy unit while it has the brazier, the ability that ability does not heal or return slain models. Instead, you are forced to basically remove the target. So that to me is powerful, especially when you start thinking about like some of the units that are like for example, Barrow Knights drive me insane, bringing 3 health idiot every end of turn, right? Yes. Nothing more, my friend. Yeah, heal and total.
So nothing obnoxious, just like, oh, I'm healing D3 or 3 if I'm War of the Clans. But
I played a War Hydra the other week, and it just flat heals 6 at the end of the turn. Like, it's just flat 6.
Yeah. But I think one I don't know if you realize. So the unit you're shooting, they're going to be -3 control score, but also every enemy unit within 3 inches of them. Just a Catacrysalis's one of their strength in the index was you're a low model count but high control score because Catacrys is busting everything by 3. You're taking Hell of Tyranny for -2. So this is kind of fulfilling the role of Hell of Tyranny, and just the fact that it's like, okay, I shoot one unit Brazers, -3 control score if you're within 3, but then you shoot a different unit, you're just trickling the board of just -3 control score, and this adds up. So I love both parts for that passive. Obviously, preventing healing and slaying models, so good. It's like, sure, this unit is probably, it's a decent range. It's a little bit worse than Lumineth Sentinels, since they don't have crit auto wounds and sadly can't empowered weapon them. But I think their ability makes up for it. Just preventing healing is so good. There's plenty of armies that have healing right now.
You know what? I'll give it to you. Actually, I agree. Maybe I was underestimating and forgetting how elite you were when I made that comment. Because even as I look at it, like Death Riders are like control score 1, Chariot control score 2. So unless you're playing Horde, Mortek Guard, the battle for the objective can be challenging unless you obviously kill them. So that those subtracting of 3 and given you have up to 4 if you have a reinforced unit, that will stack up. And as you said as well, like if you've got heroes or troops that are like supporting the theme, it will add up. So you know what? I'll give that to you. It's a great ability nonetheless, even if it's not just stopping the heal.
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't tell you how many points these were. These are 140 points for 10 models.
Yeah. I think not bad. It's definitely well worth it. For sure.
So 280 for a reinforced unit.
Yeah, it's the same cost as Lumineth Sentinels right now too, but I think Sentinels are they kill stuff. This is they're still doing damage, but they're supporting you as well. I like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting, because this could be the volume that you really need. It could be a nice piece where combined with the catapult to have both a long range, high damage, low amount of attacks. And this is like clearing the screens and the idiots.
And it's just getting to the mindset of your range shooting. You're going to be shooting more often than other units with similar profiles because of that Liege-Mortek guard. Just being able to shoot again, huge.
I think what's also really interesting, and I haven't thought this one through, so you tell me if I'm mad. I am mad. If I was running a really aggressive OBR, again, insert your Morghast, your Stalkers, your Crawler, your Death Riders, your Chariots. Let's say majority of my points are in this aggressive style of army. Normally, I would have a unit of Mortek Guard who might sit at the back, defending the home objective, maybe. Is there a world where I replace those Mortek Guard and then just purely have a unit of reinforced Triaxes, or maybe even 2 that are shooting, supporting, while majority of my aggressive force is pinned in, grinding, helmeting, doing its thing?
Yeah, I think it's very true when you're at that awkward, I only have 150 points left or something. What do I take? Just taking 10 Triaxes just for that passive alone, that's just -3 control score. Just that means that a chariot might hold a point against a monster being control score 5, or you're taking it from a foot hero. Then too, just the -3 control score comes up a lot more, and just the fact that this is a AoE thing, the unit lit up is affecting other units too, so it interrupts a castle's control score. Which is very nice. And to go into a spoiler war scroll, our Bone Shaper now can revive a unit of Triaxes too. So
yes.
So,
it was half strength, right?
Half strength. So it's just kind of nice that revival is, you're still getting the benefits of their Brazers.
Yeah, because that's a soggy war scroll ability, except one, it's been standardized in the Battletome. So when Soggy drops off, you'll still have this version. And this version, not the Soggy one, not that we're aware of, but like the new version also includes a Triaxes, yeah.
And for this current GHB, just mentioned something. If you really want to make this unit a damage unit, our Drill Master formation, the +1 wound, will work on this unit because that doesn't specify combat profile. So with the all-out attack, just 2s and 3s, that's not a bad shooting profile.
Yeah, remembering the fact when you combine it up with that Liege-Mortek is now hitting on 2s. That's...
Yeah.
And then you're putting the braziers down on the objective control piece. And hopefully they'll probably charge into a unit of Mortek Guard as well. So then they're going to deal with the Mortek Guard attacking as well. So there's a nice little combination there between the Liege, Mortek Guard, Mortek Triaxes. And there's probably like a good 600 points there, but it'll be an incredibly difficult 600 points.
I like war scrolls that are kind of multi-purpose, where it's like, yeah, this unit does damage, but it's also helping you here too. It makes the unit very interesting.
Speaking of interesting units, our last and final one. This is an interesting one. I was really thinking on this through, and yeah, it's super interesting. Like when I saw these originally, I was thinking like, oh, maybe they're like Shadow Stalkers where they sacrifice their move and they teleport. Not quite like Shadow Stalkers, but then again, Shadow Stalkers haven't got a new Battletome just yet, so we'll see what Daughters of Cain looks like in the future. But your Mortis Reapers are... Because I was also thinking, like, how does this compare to your Tyrannic cohort? Like, and, you know, they play a certain, like, skirmishy role. How are these going to play in? So let's have a look, right? So you got the Reaper Blades who have 3 attacks, 4s, Ren 1 for 1, anti-heroes. So they'll be Ren 2 against heroes. Yeah. You're probably not going into, like, Vordry. But if you can get into, like, a 10 health or less hero, there's probably enough attacks there to actually do some damage.
Yeah, maybe, but I think the power is in their ability.
Yeah. Yes. Move of 6, so they're a little faster than the average OBR. But yeah, it's the necrotic caches, where once per turn, at the end of any turn, pick each enemy unit in combat with this to be the target. Roll a d3 for on a 2-up. You inflict some mortal damage on the target. Then this unit can move 6 inches. It can move through combat ranges of enemy units, but it can't end the move in combat. Cute. No escaping the tithe, where once per turn, army any movement phase. If there are no enemy units within 6 inches of this unit, pick a terrain feature within 3 inches, remove the unit from the battlefield, set it up again, wholly within 3 inches of the target, and more than 9 from all enemy units.
Yeah. So they're a fast unit, especially if the terrain is good. If there's a big piece of terrain, they're hopping around. I think they're going to take some practice just because you're picking a terrain piece within 3 of the unit, but still need to be outside of 9. So on a lot of small terrain, that's probably not going to work. The enemy is just right there. But it's sneaky, it's fast, and then with necro catches, you're kind of escape from combat. You want to be making sure this unit is in a straight line almost, because you got to be outside of 6 units for there no escaping the tithe too. So, and I think biggest part, they're only 90 points. So they are dirt cheap. It's great to have some 90-point units, because so many times in the list building, it's like you have this awkward 100 points, something like that could just fill it. I can see people running this just to fill their list. And this is where OBR is going to play 6 objectives very well. Just we are taking more units now because we have these cheaper war scrolls.
Speaking of cheap war scrolls, it's probably worth calling out Tyrannic cohort is also 90 points now, so it received a massive 50-point discount. So you've got these now 2 skirmishing units. I think for me, the really interesting tech here is with no escaping the tithe, being able to use the enemy movement phase to get out of range and reposition.
Yes.
And disrupt, because obviously, like, doing it in your movement phase would then make possibly a long 9-inch charge into an enemy unit. But being able to like do it in the enemy movement turn, move away, and then set yourself up for your next normal movement phase and do what you need to do. I think this could be some really disruptive pieces.
You know what? I just realized this puts more value on that heroic trait for a redeploy of 4, because this will always make sure that this unit's disrupting the unit. You get to redeploy 4 then, so you're always outside of 6 for that teleport too. So
you could use the necrotic coach caches as well to get this unit can move.
If you want to like stop their movement, safely, because the enemy is within 6, you can't do no escaping then. So that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I totally agree with you there. This type of unit is pretty good at just potentially baiting the unit for a charge or something like that. Maybe they're not expecting this, but it's good mobility. I like it. For 90 points, I like it. If this was a 140 point unit, I'd be like, this is kind of a tough pill to swallow. Where it's like, we have a normal chariot for 170. Ooh.
Yeah. I think there's an interesting play where you've got this unit is like leaping between terrain features almost like on a turn by turn basis to get into the backfield by like turn 3, turn 4. So depending on, again, like obviously battle tactics now and the battle tactics in the future, for some of those ones, it's like having a unit in the quadrants of the board or having more units in enemy territory, or, you know, like having to seize the opponent's backfield objectives. There might be some interesting play because it's 90 points, right? You're probably going to ignore these 5 idiots. Like they could teleporting around the board. Like there's something in here for like a sneaky unit, but it's not a great unit. It's not like an auto include. It's fun. There's something tactical in here, but you've got to like squeeze the juice out of this lemon.
And the good strength of them is this is a good scouting unit too. OBR. With you're going to see some more points decreases come out. OBR could definitely build a list for scouting. This is a good unit for that, for just necro catches. Just your opponent thinks they tied them up. Nope. They just retreat or they just move back.
Yeah, it's like, do you chase them or do you bother chasing them and then the rest of your army does its thing? Or do you ignore it and then you get to capitalize? I think it's a really interesting conundrum.
And this is where, sure, it might be only 5 models, but with some Triaxes doing -3 control score, they are probably taking points away from you.
They're annoying.
Yes.
They are annoying. All right. Any final comments before we get into what has changed? We've alluded to a lot of changes. At least this is not as deep as Lumineth and Tzeentch change. There's a lot.
Have I mentioned I like -1 ward for shooting in the Liege-Mortek yet? Have I mentioned that? Well, I like them.
Well, have I mentioned how much I enjoy the terrain feature? And by the way, if you haven't bought a terrain feature, go to one of my affiliates and go buy it now. There's actually a good time to buy it. It's a great time to play OPR with your massive terrain feat. It's so big. It's so stupidly good. Oh, it's so stupid. We're actually working here.
It's not stupid anymore.
No, but like the size, it's stupidly big. I said it's stupidly big.
Big now. It's perfect.
But now, like the size of it plays to your strengths. That's the ridiculous thing. All right, it's so stupidly good. All right, it's so stupidly. It's just annoying to travel with. Like it's just,
I know,
so impractical. All right, first off, really easily, Nagash, Relentless Discipline 3. The end. No changes that I noticed.
Selfish wizard there is.
Done. Move along. Nagash is Nagash. Nagash does Nagash things. What have we got here? What stands out for me from Catacross, right? There's a lot of stuff here, right? It's gained a few things. It's got some things that have gotten worse, and it's gained some new things. Like we said Catacross was 500 points.
Yeah, 500 points. So 10.
No, you got a discount. It went down 20.
Yeah, it's true. But I think it makes sense. So, okay, he's 10 control now. That's gonna throw your opponents off even more. So the amount of times I heard that, oh, he's 5 control score. Well, now you can say he's 10 for that surprise. Combat profile drastically decreased, only 3 spear attacks. Your retinue attacks lost crit 2 hits as well, but there's no more combat battle damage. Relentless Discipline 10, awesome. Now, I think I'm just going to skip down to his new Supreme Lord of the Bone Reapers.
Yeah, that's sexy.
Juicy stuff. Just have a Relentless Discipline that can give a unit fight twice. Now, wholly within 12, but he cannot be in combat with that unit. So kind of go back to 3rd edition OBR where to do his Supreme Commander, you had to be outside of combat. So he is going back to a type of back support piece too. But being able to have Morgas fight twice is nice too. But if you want to be funny with let's say the chariots, you could fight with them and then do their teleport, since that or that redeploy combat fix ability, because that's a fight ability too. And he's going to synergize with KDR very nicely too with this fight twice as well.
Can I say what? Can I say one thing to this?
Yeah.
I think they're a really interesting idea, because you're right. Like, Morghasts are clear winners, right? First off, whatever they touch usually melts, right?
Yeah.
So, like, one, do they need the fight twice? Second of all, the bubble having to be wholly within 12 is like, how do you keep Catacross in range of your Morghast, right? Are you holding your Morghast back and having a go turn in turn 2 or turn 3? Are you using your RDP to add 3 inches to Catacross to get him up the field? Or, and why I wanted to just rudely interrupt for a second and then I'll pass it back to you, does this now add more power, not to the Morghast, but actually to your Mortis Guard and your Stalkers, given that they are probably up the field? They're probably going to be a lot easier in that 12-inch bubble. Just a thought.
Yeah, it's going to be... I think Catacross now is a type of unit that's going to need to have play to figure out his power and in all this, because, Morghast are such a clear target for them. But it's like now, since he can't do Supreme Commander and or Supreme Lord of the Bone Reapers now, can't be in combat for it. So now you're always having this bubble around him, and is it going to be worth it to go over some abilities? He can deny commands in any hero phase or enemy with an 18 on a 3-up. That's always great. And then if he has a once per battle, start of any turn, if you lose half your units, you can pop this and he goes Super Saiyan, gets +3 spear attacks, +5 spear attacks, +3 field attacks, but you can't use his fight twice relentless discipline ability then. So yeah, I think it's hard to say where Catacross is just not this clear, like, I auto take him, because there's so much more viability as we get more into the change logs. But I think there's tech around him, and then his passive too, Catacross is still keeping if you use Relentless Discipline, your units gain +3 control score, and now this doesn't even have a range for it. So this is where even the Catacross list can still play 6 objectives very wide. If you're taking him and a chariot that's teleporting, and you gave it Relentless Discipline, they're 5 control score now. And when you're 5 control score, that's when you can probably take back objectives from almost anything. It's very interesting. I like that he's going back to the back lines being a commander. But I think some people are going to miss just that he was front in the line of being this great tank of a threat and could still pop off in combat. Now, he's definitely not doing that. You definitely don't want him in the front line anymore.
I mean, I mean, you obviously can, right? Like, it's not saying you can't do it, but you're giving up Supreme Lord of the Bone Reapers Legion, and that's such a good ability, right? And you're also reserving then your RDP. Luckily, like, Catacross gives you 10, so you're basically playing with 8 if you put those 2 points aside to use Supreme Lord.
Oh yeah, and sorry, I think I was saying that Supreme Lord of the Legion was a RDP ability. It's not. It's as long as they haven't been chosen to use a Relentless Discipline ability, that's the restriction.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So you're putting your points aside for, like, for example, obviously not Morghast, but like you probably want the +1 to wound, or the 5-up ward, depending on like how the combat's kind of going. But Catacross is definitely a really strong pick. To your point, probably likely sitting behind that Killy unit for at least one of those fight twice, and then hopefully does enough damage. I think this brings some really interesting, whether it's your Death Riders, whether it's like your Stalkers or your Immortus Guard, obviously your Morghasts. Things like Mortek Guard, I mean, that's a last resort. Like, I don't think I'm building a Mortek Guard fight twice list, but nice to have later on.
If only Liege Combat or Liege-Mortek didn't have the once per turn army restriction for his chain fight. Like, I would love if he could fight twice. But how dare they balance this game for OBR? Wow.
Very rude. Very rude. So Catacross is still Catacross, does Catacross things. You pick him, you don't. You got your Mortek Ossiarch, and we'll talk about Arcane the Black soon. So maybe Arcane's more right.
No, we can talk about the Ossiarch, just his.
No. I'm not. What I'm saying though is that like you've now got someone who's viable to maybe step into those Catacross points, potentially. So your Ossiarch, like what?
Him being able to give Ren to a Mortek Crawler. Oh,
yes.
It's so good. Oh, just the amount of times with my current Mortek Crawler I made a Kragnos run away from him has been... I would be rich with nickels at this point. Funny enough. And now just the fact that my Mortek Crawler could be potentially Ren 2 and be doing Bias 2 to ward against those threats.
It's a nice little support base.
There's Ossiarch kind of had this awkward thing of like, does he keep up with the Morghast to be giving them extra rend? Now it's kind of like, okay, he can still be useful in giving the crawler rend if you're taking both. And like my list, I was always taking 4 Morghast and what crawler usually. So I love this change for the Ossiarch.
You know what I love? Arcane the Black. Look at that change log. Wow.
Barely anything changed.
No, barely. All right, Brian, I'm losing my voice. So how about you just tell me what stands out for you? For me, I'm going to jump ahead. Curse of Years. I think we both love it. We both love a good Curse of Years. But you tell me, my friend, why is this now a viable alternative pick to a list? And it is expensive. It was, I think I said $4.
It was $390 or $380 before, and then now going on $440.
He's got 50 points extra.
So if you were taking Arcane, and if you're ever jealous of Manfred and Neferata and their mounts being like damage 3 or Ren 3, well, now you got that, all right? His mount is finally at the tier of their mounts, 2. So 5 mount attacks, Ren 3, damage 3, and then what really does it for him in here, there's a rampage he does, and in combat phase, roll a dirty D3, so on a 2 up on that D3, and get that many more attacks for your mounts. If they're a Wigger or Priest, you add 1 to the roll. So you could be getting up to 9 mount attacks with this guy is hitting almost as hard as like 2 Morghast at this point. 2 staff attacks, little nerf, but that's okay. 2. So his combat profile, great. Still keeps his healing after spell cast 2. I believe he still kept his +1 to spellcast.
Yes, Staff of Spirit
Well,
System.
He's still a 3-cast wizard. That's getting to Curse of the Years now because
Yeah.
I like change. Especially if you were someone that just felt like you always popped up for the Curse of the Years, then you'll love this. It's only 12-inch range now. I believe it used to be 18, but it makes sense. You now, when you're rolling, it's still the same sequence of the dice. You're still rolling your 10 dice, looking for 6s. You pick up those 6s, then you roll 5-ups, but you're applying a token on the unit now. And if you spike and get this token to 8, that unit is just dead, just destroyed. But it's still nice. If you don't get to 8, you still do the mortal wounds. So it's kind of like, if you're taking Archon, always be casting this spell. Because I feel like when I've taken Archon, it was always maybe every other game, I just spike like crazy with it. And now just like, it's just going to be instant killing something.
Yeah, it's worth it. Like it's a very powerful spell. And while Curse of Years has always been a powerful spell, it's the fact that when Curse of Years doesn't go off or it doesn't hit its full potential, Arcane didn't do a lot before. Like he wasn't very combat-y, so he was always avoiding combat, dancing around. You've seen abilities like teleports and just get out of combat stuff, right? Now, as you've said, with that melee profile, with the mount profile going up, now he is actually adding multiple layers through the course of the game, rather than relying on a super powerful magic phase.
And if we go back to the battle formation, that if a unit charge 3-up, it gets crit 2 hits, that specified it works for mount attacks too. So Archon could be very nasty in combat. You can't combine it with empowered weapons, but he's good with that.
I just double checked it. I'm like, I was hoping you were wrong for a brief second. Like, nope, it clearly says on a 3-up, this unit melee weapon, including companion weapons, have crit 2 hit. That is scary.
Yes. A little bit changed to his used to be like spell ignore on 4-up. That's just it's a once per turn reaction of it's almost like a enhanced unbind. If an enemy wizard casts a spell within 18 of you, you can use this. You roll 2d6 for unbind, and if you did unbind the spell, they can't use that spell till your next turn. So this is going to be good into lists where you know, like, oh, what's the one spell I always want to try to be stopping? Put Archon within 18 of them and just try to remove that spell from their playbook.
But, can I just call out one thing in the Rampage?
Yeah.
The little designer's note that I don't think I fully appreciated until this moment, where it says, if the target is a wizard or a priest, this ability cannot fail. However, you still need to roll to determine the amount. So, like, there's a lot of monster heroes out there that are wizards or priests.
Yeah.
Usually wizards.
Yeah.
So you can go in reliably knowing that at worst case scenario, you're going to get +1 attack with this profile. That's pretty solid.
It really is.
And then let alone, like, if you happen to do that battle formation, get yourself roll the 3-up to get the crit 2 hits. Like, that's delicious.
I think Archon's point increase very valid for what he got.
Yes, and the fact he's also healing, the ability, was it where was it? The rewrite of the Staff of Spirit. So he still gets the +1 to cast, but then each time it successfully casts a spell, heal 1 after the spell has been resolved. So you're healing in combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he is just good, and it's just, now it's like, I think it's just gonna take games for me, because now it's like I need to expand my mind. It's like, oh, Archon and like Morgas can just be on the side of the flanks. They're not restricted to auras of like Catacross and stuff like that. He can reliably just be killing like scouting units, stuff on flanks alone too. Morgas can be doing that too. You're not just restricted to like, I have to be the center of the table, only within 12 or 18. Now, it's just, I think that's going to just take some getting used to and reps to play to understand the full power for this army now.
Yeah, that's scaring the pants off me. Speaking of someone who doesn't have pants, I don't know actually that's true or not. Xantos. So Xantos, by the way, yeah, full Morghast with Arcane is horrifying.
Yes.
Horrifying, and that's why I keep saying, that's why we keep talking about, like, yes, you can fight twice with Morghast. Do they need it? Often they don't, but you've got other tools at your disposal like this where it can be really powerful. Anyway, we've been talking for 90 minutes. It's still in the changelog, but that also is also reflective of how much has changed in this book. Yeah. Xantos, not as many tweaks here. I mean, it's a nice little ability to apply the strike last.
Yeah, it's nice that it's just a reliable every enemy unit just gets strike last. I think I preferred the +1 attack just because with the crawler and Ossia Factor, you had a reliable source of strike last. But he's nice, especially for his relentless discipline ability that'll be coming up.
Yeah. That's literally what I was going to say. Is did those Death Riders used to have +1 charge?
Yes, they did.
That's what I was going to call it. That's the other thing that's not on the War Scroll now. So, it's almost like an auto.
Yeah, I think
Death Riders.
I think now is a good time to explain the change to the Death Riders, so this makes more sense. Death Riders, big discount. They went to 150 points. But they lost their charge damage. Too. So they're only damage 1 base. So if you want to have Death Riders be that DPS unit in your list, you're gonna be taking Xantos too, which is not a bad choice. Because he can take he gets 7 RDP now too. And then a big change with the Death Riders too, they have a core attack ability. So instead of attacking, they can just move 10 inches. So they're playing this game. They're just ping-ponging around. And that works well with Catacross too. You get to fight. And then you get... I think they still need to be in combat, but they can move then 10.
For the Death Rider wedge.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll bring it up very soon. But if this unit charged this turn, pick an enemy unit that's in combat to be the target. Then you can be a friendly Liege-Kavalos within this unit's combat range, and then inflict D3 damage to the target, inflict an additional D3 mortals on the enemy unit if you pick a friendly target. Then this unit and a friendly unit can move 10 inches. They can move through the combat ranges of enemy units, but cannot end that movement in combat.
So yeah, Xantos with Death Riders makes a lot of sense. I think if you're building a KDR list, probably taking Xantos with them, but
you have to, because they don't have they've lost both the crit 2 hits and they've lost +1 to charge.
There are the type of list that's like, getting 15 wounds for only 150 points, 4-up save, 6-up ward. That does become a stat check unit of like, if I just take MSU units and just get on objectives and make that, can you kill me fast enough? Especially when I'm putting 5-up wards for specific units, too. But I think it makes sense when you're that cheap that you shouldn't have charge damage or getting extra rend from anti-charge auras like in this index. So
we'll get to the Death Riders soon, but I think what you made a really interesting point, right? Because I could have Death Riders as a cheap screen for 150 points for 5. Or I could supercharge them with something like the battle formation, spells, what we just said here with Xantos, to make them the killy threat. So there's actually the points discount is actually making them a second role. All those points discounts are going into a hero to bring these abilities back. Exactly. Volkmotorian here again. Some tweaks here and there, but really like the key is the rewritten Voice of Nagash as well as the Mortal Contracts. Do you think any of those are worth calling out this particular point?
Just picking a unit, spending a command ability just to have a unit not be able to use any non-core abilities, is very good and cannot be affected by any non-core abilities. Now, I'm kind of wondering how this interacts with a wizard or priest doing prayers. Does that just stop them from that? I might need to ask Rules Channel about that. Not sure. I guess if they were the target of the spell. So I guess some spells, so they're like producing an aura or something. I think that makes sense. Yeah, they need the target or be affected by. So this has this can really interrupt a lot of units not being able to use non-core abilities. And I like that. And it's not once per game, man. It's an enemy hero phase 2. So that's all.
There are there's a lot of things here to like about Mortorian. You've also got plenty of stuff happening, like at a Liege-Kavalos. We're only on page 3 of 5.
Oh, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you, but his spell is more reliable. Mortal Contract, it's whenever a unit just uses a core ability, they take D3 moves. So if they move, shoot, charge, or fight, they're taking D3 mortals, and there's no more that awkward, I need to pick a friendly unit to be on the receiving end. It's just, if you want to just be doing some chip mortals to them, it's a good spell. And it's only 140 points.
We've already talked about Death Riders. Let's put them to the side for a second. We've also kind of talked throughout the course of this. Oh, by the way, I should probably have been talking about points. I've been rude. So Arc in the Black, as we talked about, 440 already, gone up 50 points. Xantos is gone up 30 points, so 220. Mortorian is the same at 140. So Mortorian didn't change, although did get us a tweak on the regiment options for the better. Liege-Kavalos here is a 180 points, so gone up 20 points. Your Bone Shaper has gone up 40 points, so now 140. The Soul Mason remains at 150. The Oss effect is not on screen. I'll talk about that later then. Soul Reaper is 130, going up 40 points. Your Mortek Guard are same at 110. Your Death Riders we've already spoken about are 150, going down 50 points.
And Oss Effector's 110 as well. I know that.
It's on the screen. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Liege-Kavalos. It's great. His chain fight now finally gives you +1 to hit, so he's like on par with other heroes on mounts now, too. And he gives Death Riders 2 extra movement for their Death Wedge ability. So that's good.
What's interesting, because we just talked about Xantos and the power of combining with the Death Riders. This Wedge is also an interesting ability. But there's probably not a world where you actually, maybe I don't know. Do you take both Kavalos, like the Liege-Kavalos, and Xantos and Death Riders, or is it one or the other?
Yeah, it's like I think it's just gotta take those games to find out of, like, because Xantos is definitely gonna be in the front lines. So it's like, okay, is he dying earlier, and I need that like other hero with a lot of relentless discipline generation as a backup too, because he doesn't need to be in combat to use his ability, unlike Xantos. Or Xantos's +1 damage doesn't need to be too, but
if he's Kavalos is not in, but if the Kavalos is not in combat, then you don't get this, the chain fighting, right? So like this is the conundrum. I don't have an answer for it, but it's the conundrum of like, do you take both, and are they both in combat and in harm's range? Is it too much? Like, are you now stacking too many points on 2 heroes for 1 unit?
Especially with the Liege-Mortek, it's only 120 for 5 discipline. Like, so yeah, it's hard to say if the Death Riders discount is cheap enough where you can field both of these cavalry heroes.
Please get going. It's just an interesting conundrum. Like, I don't have the answer for you. It feels like taking both plus Death Riders is too much.
I even with my expertise, I don't have the answer, because this is a book that you're going to need some reps in to really understand and find out new synergies. But to get into the Bone Shaper, he's a soggy Bone Shaper for 140 points, but he can revive the Triaxes now. And that's awesome. If you're not running Triaxes, though, you get a 40-point discount taking a soggy Bone Shaper right now if you want to just revive Mortek Guard. So that's fun, but Bone Shaper be able to bring Triaxes at half strength, I think it's worth it because Triaxes are always worth it in the game.
Plus, you get 3 extra rally dice when you're using the rally through the Legion Quartermaster, which is nice.
Exactly like the soggy version, which is awesome.
Yeah, it says it there. It says almost identical.
Yeah,
but I don't want you guys to overlook this. That when SOG ends, which is likely June, July, we would lose that War Scroll. Most armies have not had this happen to them. Like their soggy War Scroll has not been brought into the Battletome. This is one of the first. So if you've been enjoying it, know that you're going to be able to enjoy it continuously.
Yeah, that's great to point out too. Soul Mason, he's funny. His chair's moving faster. He can move 6 now. So he's upgraded the bones of his chair. Got some better femurs in there or something like that. And
move along.
No, he still has Fight First spell. But Fight First is better in this now, especially if you combine Catacross and Soul Mason. Giving Morghast Fight First and Strike twice. Super nasty. Where that is guaranteeing something is gonna die, like at that point.
Or, as you also called out earlier, with the Liege-Mortek supported by Mortek, because then you do strike first, then you've got the ranged bows from the Triaxes or your Mortek immediately fighting. So, love that.
Yes. And then Soul Reaper, he just has a once per turn combat ability, rolling a dirty D3 to do mortal wounds and gain that many relentless discipline abilities. That's probably going to be nice if you lost your units, but I don't know if I would be taking him compared to everything else because he went up in points, right?
The Reaper, yeah, Reaper's 130, so we're up 40 points.
Yeah, I would much rather have a Reaper at 140 doing -1 to wound than probably that ability. So I don't know.
Sure. And the challenge that it's a combat phase ability, right? Like if it was ranged, different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good ability. Is it worth it? Look, it might be helpful in the late game where you have lost that RDP 6 or 7 hero, and now you're scrapping, and this thing's scrapping from like turn 3 and 4 onwards.
I guess one thing, this is giving you RDP outside of the initial generation to use.
Yes.
So I guess there's power in that. I think he's on the lower of the priority. Do I want to take this Foot Wizard?
Agreed. It's nice ability. Do I have 150 points? And if I did, 130 points. If I did, would I spend it on a Soul Reaper? Question mark.
Yeah. Let's skip to Mortek Guard because I really like them now. They're essentially like soggy Mortek Guard, but they can do -1 rend for anyone and even themselves, which is super awesome. You might be noticing all these Foot Wizards lost their Morrison keyword, and you're probably thinking, oh, my soggy Mortek Guard can't protect them. Well, you're taking normal Mortek Guard now, too. And this is going to be great where this helps out your Triaxes be more durable, too. This really helps out your castles, your Catacrosses, your Morghast as well, too. So there is a world that, like, you can still build a castle. You're just taking 10 Mortek Guard, and you could just take only 10 to just sit back for this ability, too, as well. And it's, I'm just kind of envision of like some castle formations of like there one maybe sometimes bait them to try to charge the Triaxes or the Crawler, so the Liege-Kavalos can still just have them shoot in combat, too, and just have the Mortek Guard behind. I don't know. I like I like the freedom now that they have. That's just any unit.
I think with the points discount as well, though, if you were just taking 10 Mortek Guard just to hold the backfield objective, nothing more to support. Now that the Death Rider points have changed to 150 and I get, 15 health for 150 points versus 10 health for 110, I think there might be a world where you start taking Death Riders unsupported to hold the backfield and then fast enough to then support and move around to handle. But to your point, some of the new Mortek abilities, I don't mind, especially when you're investing in Triaxes, Liege-Mortek, things like that. So, and then obviously add the Gothizzar Harvester as well. Like, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah. And then Cohort. They're awesome. They got more Streamlight attacks to just be of their better attack profile right now, too. But they're only 1 health now. But they're only 90 points, too.
Yes.
They gain the beast keyword. They do a pregame move, which is great. I think Cohort's movement is 7, so they're taking a lot of middle objective before it starts, which is nice.
They are 7. Yeah.
Real. And then this is a unit that can do interruptions, too. Once per turn army, any hero phase. It can move 3 inches. It can end in combat. But if you're going to use this and you have the option to be in combat, you must end that move in combat. So, Cohort for only 90 points, that could be a strong interruption unit. Yeah, I would take that.
I guess the question is, you've now got your your Reapers now who are playing in the exact same space. So, pros and cons on either side. But I know I've been using my Hellsmith's Hobgoblins who have a pre-game move, and it's been a game changer. It's been so good to like push out screens and add extra layers on like a deep strike or like a really aggressive turn 1, let alone some of the other things you can do with that kind of pre-game move. So don't sneeze on it at all.
Yeah, for a pre-game move for only 90 points is very nice too. In Mortis Guard, I don't know how you feel about them, but they do have a strong ability. Now, they lost their crit 2 hits. What? I thought Mortis Guard was an elite unit, but they weren't elite enough.
It's the second time you've said that. I feel like they've cut you deep.
Yeah, I liked the Mortis Guard before, but any combat phase, once per turn army, pick an enemy unit that is charged this turn to be the target. Other than command abilities, no weapon abilities. So it is a strong taking ability. A lot of units rely on their command abilities, and they are something. If you want to build that castle, you could just take an MS unit of them too, just to be turning off all weapon abilities that have charged your units for that turn as well.
Crit 2 hits, +1 damage, like this, anti-blah. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, the War Stomper very reliant on anti-infantry to deal with OBR, and they wouldn't get that for a round of combat. It's great. I think 170. I don't know. I know there were 170 points, but it's like so much of the stuff has gone down in points, or you have cheap options for units. So it's like, does it matter? I think Mortis Guard losing. I think the book losing anti-charge like really helps in Mortis Guard's power for their striking back on units.
Like, it's got a pretty good profile. Like 3 attacks each, hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s, Ren 1 for 2. With some RDP, I can bring that to wounding down to 2s. All that attack, I'm putting it down to like 2s and 2s, Ren 1 for 2 damage.
Yeah.
Plus some other abilities. Like, I understand like what you're feeling. Like 170 points, reinforce what you just under 3.
Yeah. It's just it'd be interesting because you can also support them with Mortek Guard now for -1 Ren. As
strike first spell. Like, there's a lot of things you can do.
The book, there's very few. Oh, this War Scroll is just good. Like, let's say the Morghast is the most obvious. Like, that is just good. In Mortis Guard, I think you're gonna find there might be power with combination of arms.
As somebody who plays lots of armies that don't have a Morghast, I would die to have an Immortus Guard in my army. Just for the record, let's not put everything at Morghast. Like,
I think everything should be good like a Morghast in OPR. Okay.
Then you should pay the points. You have 3 models on the table. Go look, like, and I think it's kind of like Morghasts are clearly good. Like both Archai and Harbingers, they're both great. Like we know what they do. They're very good, and as you can see here, they're mostly unchanged. Yes, your Archai have had some slight tweaks, but they're mostly good, right? I still think Mortis Guard and Stalkers have some play. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're like a tad too expensive. Maybe they're like 150, 160 now. But there's a lot of really good benefits in this army that I actually don't understand the full potential of these units. And I'd be curious to see people playtest them because maybe they are really good, but you're just going to have a couple of key pieces. They're not as independent as they used to be.
Yeah, I think what's nice about them is in Mortis Guard before, they had to be next to a hero to be worth it. Right? Now they could be in front of your Triaxes, like or something like that. They're defending. They can defend all your units with their benefits, too. So to get into Stalkers, they lost some flavor. I really used to like their utility, but essentially they gain a horde clear spell in the combat phase. Just roll a number of dice equal to the amount of models. Each 6 is 1 mortal wound. If that unit had 3 or more models, inflict 1 more damage off 5 up instead. Just a basic horde clear spell. There's your Shard Storm now. It's there.
That's not a spell, just for the record.
Yeah. It's just a
just in the off chance someone thought they were now Wizard 1 with a spell, just in the off. They're not wizard. They're not wizards, not those guys.
Yeah, they get an extra movement, so never downplay getting any extra movement too. I used to just like the utility of the Stalkers, just having that. So, but hey, Stalkers, they have a role to play. Just if you want to be cleaning out those horde armies, Stalkers will be very helpful in that.
For 140, they're not bad.
Yeah, 140 for 12 wounds, 3 attacks with 2 Ren, 1 damage. Still a good war scroll.
Yeah, that horde clearing piece is quite good. Especially again, same profile, like hit on 3s, win on 3s. Do the same thing, all out attack and RDP. 4 attacks each, 2s and 2s. Rend 2 for 1.
Their current war scroll would probably just be too strong in this book of OBR with how much stuff is synergizing with them. Too, because imagine Triaxes doing -3 control score, then they're doing -3 stance control score. So easy access to -6. Their current war scroll would be too strong in this book. So it makes sense they got toned down a bit for their point costs. Morghast, Archai, they did, I want to say, slightly better now. I just want to confirm with you, do they keep their 3-up ward against spells, prayers, and manifestation damage?
Yeah, discharge armor, pick a frag visible, OBR wizard within 12, roll a dice on a 3-up. Oh, no, sorry, the wrong one. Ebony wrought armor, which is rewritten there. So basically, the new Ebon wrought armor is still a passive ability. This unit has a ward of 3+ against damage points inflicted by spell abilities, prayer abilities, and abilities used by manifestations. What's missing is that second line. So that second line is no longer there. It says if you make a successful ward roll or destroy a manifestation, you get that arcane charge token. So things.
Just roll 3-up for a wizard wholly within 12. They get +1 to spell casting in any hero phase for the rest of the turn. That's just great, especially turn 1. Morghast near Arkan. You're not relying on making ward saves or killing a manifestation to get that anymore. I will gladly take that trade. Too. What was the Harbingers just lost the ability of like they could do relentless discipline anywhere on the field now. Well, that's just your battle trait, so
yeah.
So
I mean, they've still got the +1 dice to the charge, right? They still do 3e6. So
it's charging, which is awesome. It's still 250 points. Archive still 260. So good value. 2.
Go 100 points. 700 points.
No. I think I could make a case why they should be lower. Let's have this discussion now. No.
Go away. Also, how desperate I am. I just changed the slides. Like, just get off that topic. Gothizzar Harvester is an interesting one. I feel like it's lost a bit of its identity from for a while, actually. Like, where do you stand on the Harvester? Because I'm still like
it. Yeah, it's funny. It's like clearly in Age of Sigmar, they don't want the like much recursion or healing in OBR. So for lore reasons, like that makes the Harvester a very awkward unit to do. And I think the rules kind of describes it, but I think overall I like it better. To try to describe it now is at the end of any turn, you're checking if you've destroyed any units on the battlefield. You add 1 to the roll if this unit fought. Each 4 up, the unit is full. Now, if the unit is full, only in your hero phase now, pick a unit wholly within 12 to be the target. You can return 1 slain model. If the target had health characteristic 1, return 3. So Harvester before was very good at bringing back Mortek Guard, something small and stuff like that. This is clearly it. This is meant for your elite units like the Morghast or Immortus Guard or Stalkers now. I would say even for Death Riders, it's a little bit awkward, like because Harvester is now 200 points, and if you're adding up a stance profile, it did get less damage now. It's not as good in combat. It's interesting. It's no longer a monster and just a war machine. I don't really know what's the benefits of that. I guess not.
Sorry, what did you just say?
It's no longer a monster. It's just a war. It's a war machine now.
yeah.
Sorry, you can't get suplexed by a Gargant anymore if you're worried about that.
No, I freaked out for a second because I looked what's on the screen. I'm looking at the battle tome, and I'm also looking at the pitch battle profile. And the pitch battle profile right now says it's a monster. So I have to quickly message GW. I'm like, you need to fix that because it still says it's a monster on the pitch. That's why I freaked out. I'm like, wait a second. My deck says one thing, the battle tome says another thing, and then the upcoming pitch battle profile for Warcom says another thing. No, it's definitely a war machine, so it's no longer a monster. So you are correct, and I are correct on the screen.
So, yeah, it's nice that you can recur from anywhere on the table, or you can get your chargers outside of combat now, which was the last Harvester. You had to be in combat with it to be getting its belly full to bring back models. I think this one takes some playtesting, but 200 points is kind of tough pill to swallow. Like, what's better, to be able to bring back some high quality models back over the course of the game, or just taking more cheaper units MSU? The playtesting is kind of what determined that, and your list style too. 60 points increase is a lot.
It's insane that it's 6 attacks, hits on 4s, wounds on 2s, rend 2 for 3 damage, 10 health, returns models. It's an interesting pick. I wonder if the 60 points is too aggressive, because I do see a world where, again, we keep going back to this style of like Triaxes, Mortek Guard, your Liege-Mortek. Like, that can be a really strong castle, especially if you're returning models in combat. Because you don't have a rally in combat, but this would be able to essentially bring back 3 extra models. So, like, this could, like, and then especially you put the 5-up ward RDP down. This could, like I've played my, what's the Mortek Guard Saggy?
It's like when the current Harvester being 140 right now, it makes, like, test played 8 more gas list with 2 harvesters and just felt it felt really good.
Yeah.
Too. And now I couldn't imagine like if the harvester was 140 and just being able to just return a model back. And the harvesters didn't need to be in combat for it.
I think this unit comes into its own if you're taking 2 units of reinforced Mortek Guard. If you've only got 1, then maybe you're right. You're better off having a second one. But the
problem is it's a once per turn army recursion too. So it's like having multiple of them doesn't make too much sense.
No, but what I'm saying though is when you're spending 200 points, like for 220, I'm getting an extra 20 bodies versus one. I'm not talking about like the stacking of the ability. I'm talking about if I've got 200 points, am I better off spending it on 20 extra bodies of Mortek Guard, or am I having one model that's supporting the 20 plus maybe the Triaxes?
Yeah, I think this getting into a bucket like the Soul Reaper, like I don't know if this unit is worth it.
Yeah, maybe it's too aggressive, like 170, 180, 160. Maybe it might be a bit too high, but I'd love to hear what people have to say. What I want to say though, all right, let's go to the crawler. Go to the crawler.
Thank you.
I just want to talk about Nexus. I want to talk about the Nexus.
The Nexus is all right. Like I don't know. I think it's in the bucket of the Soul Reaper and Harvest.
Hey, look the other way. You know what? Screw you. It's my channel. All right, Nexus. All right. So, what's important here is this aura. Okay, so you have the Deathly Aura. That's the thing you need to know about. So, the aura, basically, units cannot set up within X of the terrain feature. Now, what is X? That's a great question. Thank you, Brian, for asking. Basically, every battle round, that X is going to increase. So from battle round 1, no one can be set up within 9 inches. Then it goes to 12, 15, 18, 21. 21 on the base size, or the air quote base size of this terrain feature is absurd. Yes, I know there's not a lot of things in a deep strike within 21 inches in battle round 5, but in turn 2 and turn 3, going for like a 12-inch aura or a 15-inch aura, this can be weaponized in a very nice way that costs you 0 points.
I just want to say, it's like OBR players, you've all had this game. Just it's battle round 5, and you're just facing an army that just teleports, and you cannot defend your back objective. Well, that stops this. Like, it's like, oh, sorry, Silverdeath, you can't just strike and fade to your trees in my backline anymore, too. And this ability just benefits OBR so much. If they had to give this ability to an army, I'm glad they gave it to OBR. It just fixes that top like mobility issue OBR like had in the index. Oh, or I want to say it fixes the amount of models you can field. Like, do I have enough in my back? Like, as a this prevents people just taking your points, teleporting around, and stuff like that, and helps you get those sometimes early alpha strike armies with like deep striking, like Grand Hammer, like, deep striking in front of you, moving D3 closer, and you plus 1 charge on each side. Our faction drain has so much better. Now you're always taking it. Now there's no reason not.
Yeah. It's a helpful little ability. Turn 1, I don't think if someone's going to Grand Hammer you in turn 1, it does much because
it happened to me a couple of times. So
I know, but like when you put in Gardas and you put in all the friends to then turn the 9 into like a 5 or a 6, like it can. But I think it's more important for like the non Stormcast people, right? Like as you said, like anything that can teleport, deep strike, get in front of your face, like your Soul Screen Bridge or anything. When they don't have those pluses to like set up and then move, and you're pushing them to 9 or even beyond, then that's really powerful. And I think to your point as well, the late game protection, that's like cream.
And this combined like the recent Battletomes of Zinch and Lumineth right now, Light of Aetherion or the Scourge of Gaian Ogride just being set up in your face where they have some sort of taxi service to bring those units, that can combat that. Now, if you put your faction terrain high enough and you're playing around that, it's just so good. I just love it. And it's a unique rule. It's awesome. It's very cool. And it can do 6 damage too, which is funny. Get the it has blades, it has swords, it can finally use them.
I did have to triple check to make sure I didn't make that up. I'm looking going, that's attack profile? Like, please don't, like, let's not make false sense of security for our OBR friends. No, it absolutely.
Yeah, and this thing moves 12 inches too. No, I'm not.
It does not move. No, that's a lie. It's 4 up save, 13 health, no control, no move, 2 attacks, 4s, 2s, 2 for 3. That's not bad.
Yep.
Good. All right, wrap us up with this, and then we might blast quickly through the armies of renown.
Okay. Mortek Crawler. Only thing that's changed, it lost anti-infantry. It makes sense because Boss Factor can give it extra red now. Too, but its strike last ability is exactly the same. And funny enough, it gets extra rend against faction terrain and extra damage against terrain. I assume its normal damage is still D3 plus 2.
If it's on there, it means it hasn't changed.
Okay, awesome. Our endless spells gotten even better, which is like crazy statement to say with OVR. Bone-Type Shrieker, unchanged. It didn't need to change, so awesome. Soulseer Carrion, if you love control score modifiers, this is the endless spell for you. It subtracts 10 from anything in 6 inches. Plus 5 for just infantry. We have so much control score modifiers now. It's like going to this army is going to be, I have a decent amount of units now, and I still heavily modify your control score. Like, you're probably beyond control score of almost anything now.
That's huge against Suns, right? We're minus 10. Plus -3 potentially from your Triaxes, plus or anything.
It's so funny. If you bracket a Gargant and you have the Carrion, they are control score 1. Like, it's insane. Predator, all this says, if it killed a model, you add 1 to the roll if it comes back or not, if it got destroyed or banished that turn. So, hey, I'll take a 3 up to return that nasty fighting manifestation. So
I'm shocked.
Yeah. And it costs no points for this lore. Awesome.
Yeah, good call. There's no single cost to anything, so there are no costs whatsoever.
OBR still the best manifestation lore in the game.
They're very good. They're very good. By the way, you have, I forgot to put this on screen, but there are 2 regiments of renown. One of them is a Herald of the Bone Tithe, which includes your Volk Mortorian, 3 Immortus Guard, and 3 Mortek Guard. And that is going to cost you 5-10 if you want to bring them into other death factions. And then you've also got a Siege Breaker, which is your Ossifector and a Crawler, again, going into death armies. And that's 360. So, for those who want to add some Bone Daddy love to their other Nagash armies, not bad at all. And then, to bring us home, we've got some armies of renown. Like this, actually, before I bring those on screen, let's bookend this for a sec. Overall thoughts so far of the average traditional OBR. Are we feeling good? Are they a 5-0? Are we going to be struggling for the next couple of months? What are you feeling?
I am feeling good. I can see the 5-0, especially alone with a stat checking Kavalos Death Rider list. Like, we have so much modified control score, mobility, and tech. Like, I could see that being the easy 5-0 army for top players. But I'm feeling good about other lists, like the shooting focus type of list too, or just, I'm really curious, just the classic, like, we're probably going to see Liege-Mortek, Triaxes, or Crawler together. I'm curious how lists with that, like, block of units do. And I feel like it's going to be good. I'm feeling confident with OBR. Relentless Discipline is probably going to take some practice and strong decision making of when you're using your Relentless Discipline, because 5-up board for everyone, but that's not in this book anymore. So you're picking and choosing your battles.
To be fair, you got Triaxes, you're probably not. Other people don't have 5-up boards either, to be fair. But let's talk about the two armies. You got two armies of renown. So if you want to ditch everything we've talked about and try something a little different, by the way, I think OBR's in a good spot. I think they are a 3-2-4-1 army, a very good player, can take them to 5-0. I don't think there's anything that is going to stop them from doing a 5-0. I also don't think that they're a 5-0 out of the gate. I think some of their points are maybe too aggressive. There is a lot of red going up here on the screen, especially when it comes to the heroes. Obviously, the dependency of heroes makes sense for RDP, but you're really only generating one RDP benefit from the hero. So, like an amount of points, it's not like they're accumulating by having more heroes. So, I'll be interested to see what this looks like. The new units feel right, although I do think like the new Kavalos on War Chariot might be too cheap. But I think overall, like this is solid. This is solid.
It was a surprise the role the Reapers are. I thought they were going to be a type of assassins, but no, they're just more of a scoring unit. I was kind of surprised on that.
Yeah, like I said, like I thought they'd be more like Shadow Stalkers, right? Because Shadow Stalkers like teleport around the board. They've got a little bit of shooting. They've got a little bit of combat. They're more of an annoyance, and they like the fact that like Shadow Stalkers can shoot as well. Like even though like they only chip damage, like it's enough to like have like a screen on screen battle. While this one is clearly, and I was like, with the Reapers, like okay, the anti-hero. What's the type of hero that they're gonna go for?
Just
and
like 5-up.
Yeah, that's what like you're at 5-6 health, infantry foot hero idiot. And then like, do I need something to go handle that idiot? And then how much effort is going to take to go fight that idiot? So that I'll be like teleport around the board and get around screens and like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to write them off, but I'm like, there's more play, and maybe I will actually just completely ignore the anti-hero stuff and just do the other things.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know if like maybe and if I wanted to really kill that idiot hero, I probably want to reinforce the unit. Then do I want to spend 180 points on a unit to do that?
Yeah, like 15 attacks on 4s and 4s is not reliable. Granted, you're gonna have an opportunity to do maybe D3 mortal wounds to it. So yeah, it's tough, but they're only 90 points, so that's the big thing.
Yeah, like I probably don't take them reinforced, to be honest. Like if I'm really honest, I don't. But anyway, this goes back to anyway. Let's talk about these two armies of renown. They are fine. Probably I'm not going to spend too much time on these. They are fine. So the first one is the Lancers of Ossia. And it is, as you can see, a fast little army. You have Xantos, and you must include Xantos. You get yourself you can have a combination of having like your Kavalos on Chariot, your Chariot, and then your Cav. You can't include the terrain or the army's renowned. So what do you get? You get stuff. You get like a pseudo kind of IDP system here. Interesting ability here where your friendly units can use power through when the target does not have the same. When a friendly Lance of Ossia unit uses the power through command, the target does not have to have a lower health characteristic than the friendly unit, which makes it really interesting to high health units. And then you got some RDP abilities because you've got the Praetorian Elite. So while you don't have Immortal Elite, which was your generic battle traits, you do have your own little version of RDP here. And you can see, add +2 to move, or the unit cannot use redeploy. That's fun.
Yeah, Kavalos Lance is a very strong ability. The Relentless Disciplines is just like okay. It's hard to give up 5 up board. RDP.
Yeah. And you are giving up all of those things that we spoke about at the top of the show. So if you take an Army of Renown, but it's obviously very heavily towards this, which is cool. You will get yourself a couple of extra RDP. You can see here the Fury of Xanthos and Blood Smeared Hooves, as well as 1 heroic trait, 1 artifact. So this is how you can get crit 2 hits from your Cav. And there's also a +1 rend, including companion weapons, which is a nice little ability for the Cav.
Yeah.
And
Xanthos, keep in mind, Xanthos' RDP for +1 damage is on his War Scroll. So you're combining these two with him. So Cavalry are doing damage in this.
an interesting heroic trait, your one and only one. If a friendly Kavalos Xanthos is not wholly within 12 inches of this unit, you gain 2 RDP. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So Xanthos has already given me 7. I'm probably going to take an extra hero, so that would then bring me to 9 with the +2, as long as I'm keeping them separated.
Yeah. It's good. All is the characters.
What might take the Liege-Kavalos on War Chariot, because there's literally no synergy between Kavalos, the Death Riders, and the Chariot. So that's good use.
Yeah.
And Brian's favorite reducing of control scores.
Control score, dude. It wins games.
Unfortunately, there's no Triaxes for you in this particular build.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, if only you could take Helmetary was an artifact to still, or the normal OBR.
Maybe in the next Battletome you'll get Horse Archers.
Oh, dude, there we go.
Man, Horse
Well,
Archers.
maybe the Triaxes ride the board gas, and the more gas get cheaper too. Let's talk about how we need to lower the points for the board gas.
How about we talk about not making them be reinforced? Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was smelling burnt toast for a second. Oh my gosh.
Look, overall, Lance is fun.
It's just fun.
You absolutely could build the exact same list in traditional OBR, and you probably do better. But there's some cool things in there. Like, it's fun. I'd take it to an RTT or maybe take it to a local store. It seems fun. Nothing bad about it, but I think you're definitely giving up a lot by refining yourself into that. Would you agree?
Yes, I completely agree on that.
It's not bad. Like, if there's been plenty of bad ones, I'm looking at you. Was it Solve Like Gravelords where Nagash has to stand next to a terrain feature for 2 turns and do literally nothing? Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, that Army of Renown, if you want to run a bunch of cavalry, it fulfills the theme. It's gonna make them better in combat. And I think if someone was just doing mass cavalry, that's a more fun style than just in a traditional way. I'm massing cavalry just to stat check you. Can you kill all this cavalry? No, it's more fun when you can fight the opponent.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not invested in, and I don't think you should go all in on Cav. But if that's like why you got into OBR and that's like you just want to have fun, like, go do it.
Yeah.
This, on the other hand, is a little bit more spicy. The Null Myriad. So it's Arcan the Black, Brian's little favorite friend. Must be the general as well. Must be included. Going to have any non-unique Ossiarch Bonereapers wizard heroes. Any Ossiarch Bonereapers infantry units. And if I read this correctly, Brian, that also means Catacross can be in the list because he is also an infantry unit.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's wild.
It doesn't specify non-hero infantry. It just says infantry. So I'm going to assume that for some reason you can have Arcan and Catacross and have a good time.
I have a feeling that's just a little oversight on their part. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets fixed. But
Well, until that point, I'm going to pretend that I can run 2 of my big boys and a bunch of other infantry. Null Myriad units have a 4-up ward against spell, prayer, and manifestation abilities. That's kind of cool and very thematical to the wizard focused OBR. Supernatural Absorption is going to pick an enemy manifestation on a 3-up, banish it, do a bunch of healing and a bunch of stuff. And then the first of the Mortarks, I always said Fist of the Mortarks. I try to overcorrect myself there. The first of the Mortarks, where each time you make a casting roll for a friendly Arcane to black, if all of the following are true, this spell cannot be unbound. So the unmodifying casting roll contains 2 or more results of the same value. The casting roll equals or exceeds the casting value, and it's not miscast. So
as long as you roll doubles and it's you're above your casting value, you're good. Or
so like double 3s, right? Double 3s is probably
double 4s, double 5s, 2. Supernatural Absorption is good. Beware if you summon manifestations. They could bring back a Morghast potentially.
Yeah, that's horrifying. That is incredibly horrifying.
Yeah, Null Myriad, I think, is definitely a tier above the Lance, but it's gonna be I guess maybe go to the next.
Actually, hold on.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
A Morghast infantry, because
yes, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah.
Hold on. Wow, they are.
Oh, do you want that?
Infantry.
I don't know what I was thinking that would be, because like they're definitely not.
It's definitely a thing of like, it's just funny, like a unit that big. It was like you think it's a monster or something like that. I don't know. OBR just has funny base sizes. They're like, wait, is Cataclysm infantry? Yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Yeah, you know what? Very cool. Bring back a Morghast. Oh, good. I just ignore that I have a manifestation law against this.
I know. It's like, yeah, don't tell me your manifestations.
No, there's no manifestation worth bringing onto the table to bring back a Morghast. Yeah. The heroic trait -1 from to wound rolls for shooting attacks.
Yeah.
But it's also a bubble while wholly within 12 inches of this unit. That's really good.
Yeah, very good. There's a lot of shooting in this game. So
the Gothazar Cartouche. Pick a visible enemy unit within 12 inches, roll a dice on a 3-up, add +1 to hit for a combat attacks made by friendly Null Myriad. That's also really good.
Yeah.
And then you got a couple of spells, so you can bring on your manifestations as well as you get your 5-up ward. And notice they're both unlimited.
They're all unlimited, and you can be summoning your manifestations too. So Null Myriad has play. I want to say competitively. It's hard to say giving up RDP if it's going to be like a 5-0 type of thing, but so far it's looking solid.
Where the Lance is likely to be like a 2-3 kind of army, this is probably like anywhere from a 2-3 to a 4-1. It's a play.
Yeah, it's just when, it's funny enough, like being able to take any infantry is still a large roster for OBR because almost everything is infantry. Like this is still Triaxes, Mortek Guard, Mortis Guards, Dockers, Reapers, cohorts. Cohorts are beasts now.
Yes, yeah, correct. Your cohorts are beasts.
But
you'd be giving up your Harvester, your Crawler.
But you're also being relieved with with these unlimited spells, one of them being a 5-up board. You're giving up on that hero tax of like the like Liege-Kavaloses or Xantos you might be taking, or Chariot Hero. So it's interesting. I think it's solid.
Yeah, this definitely has more competitive play, and it'll be a lot of fun. And to your point, a lot of armies where you're focused only on infantry, that would be like a real negative. But here, yeah, you give up those war machines. Yes, you give up your cav, like your Death Riders, your chariots and stuff. But I don't think it's that bad. I think you could do something quite nice with this. Especially, we've been talking a lot about the Triaxes, the Mortek Guard. We've been talking a lot about the Liege, Mortek, like some good stuff in here. And you still keep your Morghasts.
Yeah, that's all it is, really.
Brian, I hate you.
I hear that a lot. No. Especially when I'm covering fire with my Mortek crawler, I hear that a lot.
Oh yeah. No, look. Overall, so again, I've been a massive OBR hater for a long time.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Top 3, I hate you. I hate you guys. You've never been number 1. Always been like 2, right? Never. Yeah, Lumineth was like near and dear. No, KO was near and dear my heart, number 1. This is solid. This is actually a really solid book. And if I was an OBR player, I actually would be very excited. If I was a little bit disappointed on the points, I would recognize that Games Workshop has been very good in changing points and reviewing on like a regular basis. So by the time GHB 26-27 drops, I hope that we would have a much clearer picture of like what the points are going to be. I think the new RDP mechanic is more dynamic. Yes, there's a few things that you've lost, but I think you've gained a better play style and more tools.
Yeah, it's more decision making, and it's like in current index, it was always so obvious which aura you're using. Like, am I doing +1 charge or anti-charge aura, or +1 wound or 5? It was just so easy and nothing followed along. And I don't know, this current system kind of almost feels a little bit like Lumineth, where you're having like strong decision making, and I think that's good for the game too. It makes this army so much more interesting. Playing this mini game of relentless discipline usage. Which hero am I taking? How many am I taking?
I think the last couple of months, like I've obviously done from Nurgle onwards, like Nurgle, Lumineth, Tzeentch, and this.
They've all been very flavorful. Yeah.
Very flavorful, very complex, and complex isn't hard. Because if I was a newer player, hopefully you've stayed around by this point. If I was new to OBR, or if I was like someone who's not like, competitively minded, or like I'm still like learning the game, the complexity here isn't going to stop me from enjoying the game, because I could just play with RDP and just go 5 up ward, +1 to wound, 3-inch move, right? Like I can play that really basic game. Then throughout the course of the game, there's a lot I can build on. So I think there'll be this like real mastery as I build experience. But obviously for people who are experienced like yourself, Brian, and probably many of our listeners, they're going to really enjoy the flexibility, to your point, being able to handle 6 objectives and being able to like break up your army to go fight on particular objectives and not being forced to be in bubbles and hero dependent. And if you don't have the hero dependency, do you have more points in troops, and what does that look like? And do we like there's just so many endless options.
This is for OBR. From what I always remember, they are always a castle army, and this is the first time that you can build them and they're not a castle army, because even before, when it was relentless discipline, it's like you needed to either be elite unit or near a hero to receive relentless discipline. Before, now that's just off the table. They just one of them is generating relentless discipline. So it's gonna be so interesting how that plays out, and it's just kind of hard to tell a power of like, I'm not used to that play style for this army. Like seeing that on the table, so I can't wait to play them.
And the cool thing as well is like, if you like the castle, if that's how you want to play, again,
it's still there in Morris Guard, Mortek Guard. That's gonna make a nasty castle.
Yeah. Look, overall, I'm feeling really positive. I think this is a good book. I think as an opponent, I will enjoy playing OBR more and having a more dynamic game. If I was an OBR player, I think I would feel that there are more tools to my toolkit, and I would probably feel that I would be able to have a lot more dynamic and do things that normally I wouldn't be able to do. How would you feel? Bring it home and let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if you don't like it, you don't like it.
I love the book. I think it's just going to be tough with relentless discipline. That mini game, do I have enough to last me for the whole battle round? That's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. but the flexibility's there. So many types of lists I'm already cooking up in my head. Just the shooting list, the KDR spam list, capsule list, all there. And Mortek Crawler, Orghast. It's a good day for them. Just
I think the burning question that I have that will play out over the course of 3 or so months is Catacross an auto include?
I know, because right now it feels in the index he's the auto include. And it'll just be interesting. I don't feel he's an auto include. Like, I've probably been the furthest away where I don't feel he's an auto include, but it's going to depend how it feels with that RDP. Yeah.
That right there is the fact that he's 10 RDP and the fight twice. I feel that people will be scared to not take him. That, like, it feels like you're giving up too much by not having to fight twice and the 10 RDP. And that's why, to me, while I don't think he's an auto-include, I wonder if you feel like you're just giving up too much. Like Suns always take King Broad, because if you don't have King Broad, you're giving up prayers, you're giving up certain things, and it's like, I could.
Yeah.
But I feel safer and I feel more confident by having it. So I'll be interested.
Yeah, I'll be interested in that too. Only time will tell.
Any shout outs? Anyone want to say hello to the Ligma crew? I'll see you in August.
Hi, Southern California. Crawlers are really good. I know you're all happy about that. Like, just be happy for my happiness. Thank you so much. I promise I won't roll many 6s on Covering Fire. That's probably a lie.
You know, when you put it out there, like, the world is just gonna, like, you're not gonna roll 6s for a while. So, like, don't do it.
I hope so. So I can crash out about them so I can be valid for it. But
you just want the points discount. They don't do well.
Nexus needs to be better and include a free unit of Morghast and a crawler. Would that be hard to say? Like,
you know what? Let's actually just make the terrain feature move. Like you can move it. It's got a move of 10, and it attacks by spinning.
Like the next OBR book. I think we have a lot of good ideas then.
Yeah, I'm gonna end this stream now, guys. Thank you so much. Again, I legitimately thoroughly enjoyed it, despite the fact that I've said OBR has been one of my least enjoyable factions. But I think this is kind of cool. It's actually really cool. I do like the flavorful, dynamic nature. I think there's a lot more utility in the army. I think there's a lot more units that we'll start to see play as well. So, Brian, thank you so much for your time. Guests, people listening, thank you I hope you found this valuable. And I look forward to seeing all your exciting OBR builds and reaping the tithe. And I hope you enjoyed my Warcom article. That was a lot of fun to put together. Well before this recording as well. So, I think we go now. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thanks for hanging around until the end. I hope you enjoyed that video and you walked away with a few new ideas. Now, if you did, I would love it if you pressed like on the video, as well as left me a comment with your thoughts. The conversation will continue over on Discord, and the link is down below in the episode description. I also want to give a massive shout out to the AoS Coach patrons and YouTube members who are supporting the channel and the growth that you're seeing here. So cheers, you are all bloody legends. And until next time, don't roll a 1-1 on a spellcast.